Hello, everyone, and welcome to Gloom Falls on Baldur's Gate. How's everyone doing tonight? Thank you for joining us for an evening of the Dungeons and the Dragons. Lovely to see you all, and thank you for stopping by. My name is Chris. I'll be your Dungeon Master for the next 3 or so hours, and I will be telling a story with these wonderful people here filling in all of the important bits. Because that's how D&D works. We all roll 20-sided dice to see what happens. I roll for the world, they roll for their characters, and their character sheets on the left-hand side of the screen so you can see what they are rolling and how they are rolling it. That's basically D&D. That's how it works. I play everything else, including the weather. That's mostly me, so there'll be a lot of weather descriptions today. Yet again, you're welcome, Internet. So yes, that is what we are doing, and we are now, or by the end of today, we will be halfway through our Tale of Woe.
Boo.
Yeah, look at those faces. Oh. So, at the halfway point, why don't we go around and meet all of the characters? Could you please give your name, your pronouns if you wish, your character's name and their pronouns, and maybe say how they're doing at this, the almost halfway point, starting with Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma. I use the pronouns M or Emma. My character's Trix uses the pronouns Trix or D. Trix is punching things.
Some things never change.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Where are your characters at the halfway point?
Well...
Punching things.
We have punched many things.
Mm-hmm.
We have had many conversations.
Mm-hmm.
There are more things to punch. Persephone seems very keen not to punch the things, which I'm concerned about. So, I feel like we're going to go find out why Persephone doesn't want to punch these particular people, and probably punch them.
I mean, there was a whole subplot that you revealed with personal backstory, but no, punching things, that is the headline. Cool, lovely. Thank you very much, Emma.
It was very sad. You can watch it if you watched last week's episode.
Yeah, please do. Evie.
Hi, I'm Evie. I am playing Silver. We both use she, her pronouns. So Silver at the moment is having a really bad week. Although she's with her bestie, Trix, and they're growing closer all the time, her dad has just been killed by her sibling, who has been revealed to be even more of a douche than previously thought. So she's just having a really bad week at the moment.
Right. Well, hopefully we can add some levity. No, it's going to get worse. It's
you could stab some things, and that might help.
That's a good idea. I don't know why I didn't think of that myself.
I am sensing a pattern. Lovely. Thank you very much, Evie.
Hello, I am David. I am a voice actor and audiobook narrator, and I am playing Aldrin, who goes by he, him, much like myself. Aldrin is a reformed cleric of Tymora, who is looking forward to raining radiant fire down upon LaRouche so that we can all exclaim. Exclaim? Exclaim? Gosh, that's not quite as bad as last week's depository enema sort of thing. But that gives you a we're here for the word flubbing as well, also fun. But so we can all exclaim, and I feel like it's been too much of a setup, but LaDouche is on fire.
No, it was worth it. It was definitely worth it.
Yeah, no. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
much. No one
exclaim. Thank you very much, David. Rebecca.
I don't know quite how to follow that, really. Hi, I'm Rebecca. I use she, her pronouns. I play Persephone, a human shadow monk who also uses she, her pronouns. It's not as bad as Silver's, but Percy is also having quite a bad week. She has made new friends who are really super keen on her going to wail on her worst nightmare and sort of adopted monster mum. It's going to be fine. And then she thought her girlfriend was proposing, and she wasn't. Cue the most awkward conversation of all time. Getting secondhand embarrassment a week later. Oh, and also she nearly died. Mm-hmm. And that was also quite alarming. She's never really nearly died before. So Percy's going to be fine, and is going to punch some things, which Trix will approve of, and it will all be okay.
Well, speaking of girlfriends who didn't propose but did kind of, sort of, freshly married George Lockett.
Yes, that's me. Hi, I'm George. Yeah, my real world was way less awkward, thankfully. Yes, that was not difficult. It's a low bar to clear. But yes, I'm George. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing aforementioned girlfriend Ashra Beckett, who uses she, her pronouns and is a wizard of some awkwardness. I would contend that it's not necessarily the most awkward conversation that we've had over the course of the relationship between these two characters, but it probably is. It probably was, let's be honest. Yeah.
It hurt all over the place, that conversation.
Okay, that's good, yeah.
I mean, what made it worse was you cycled back and had it again.
I was really proud of that.
Take it from 2 divorces. It was a lot. It's all right. They were a long time ago, and I'm happy about both of them.
Ash is hanging in there. Ash is thinking about her choices and ability to communicate and how spell components can be misread in the wrong circumstances and how to make that not happen again. I think that's I've talked enough.
I don't know how you think that might not happen again. You who hold a soap-carved version of yourself doing Rodin's Thinker. I don't know why you think that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
It will be the perfect memento when you die.
Anyway, I said this stream will run for approximately 3 hours and there'll be a roughly 5-10 minute break somewhere near the middle. We have some wonderful sponsors you can see arrayed around us on the screen. I'm just going to go through them quickly and tell you a bit about them. Starting with the wonderful Hero Forge. You've probably seen our minis next to people's characters, next to people's faces, doing the little spinny rotating thing, which they're probably doing a little bit now as well. Those are the character minis. We made them in a 3D character creator, and then we've put digital versions on our overlay. But you can get them printed and delivered in person to your front door. In person? By the post. So, this is a printed mini, for example. I can't get that close to the camera with it, but yes, they print them in 3D. They print them in colour. They're absolutely gorgeous. And if you ever want to try and realise a player character in miniature form, they are the perfect place to do that. So do check them out at heroforge.com. We're also sponsored by Ultra Pro. Ultra Pro do stuff for your tabletop, and I don't mean that in quite as a dismissive a way as that just sounded. But yes, lots of lovely stuff. They have so many delightful things you can get, ways to organise things mostly. So we're talking cards, sleeve wallets, and character sheet wallets and that sort of thing. But they also do a series called Figurines of Adorable Power, and they've sent me some new ones.
There are new ones.
Rebecca's got the owlbear, that's great, but I have some new ones I'd like to share some of them with you. Oh yeah. Check out the Mimic, y'all.
Yes.
Check out the Mimic. Oh, look at that. It's amazing. I love it so much.
It's perfectly horrifying.
It is very good, and I'm going to do 2 today because I've got so many new ones and I love them all very much.
What Chris needed in their life was to be surrounded by these mini D&D monsters at all times.
Check out the goblin. Check out the goblin. Look at the Grumpus goblin. Oh, they're great.
I want it.
I have, unfortunately, only got one of each, so they're mine now. But you can, if you're in chat today, you'll be in a random draw, which will give you a chance to buy one of these for yourself, or anything else you want from Ultra Pro's catalogue. Just join us in chat, say hello, say this is lovely, say I like George's new haircut. These are all things you can say. Or Emma's new haircut, or Rebecca's. Everyone's got new haircuts, apart from David and me, I think. Yeah. Well, there you go. But anyway, yes.
I'll cut it when I trip over it.
David's trying to get cast as an extra in Vikings, clearly.
Oh, I see. No.
Yeah. I promise you'll see the Viking undercut at some point before this campaign is over. It's going to happen.
Maybe. But yes, join us in chat today and be in with a chance to win the Ultra Pro giveaway gift card thingy-majig doodle-dad finagle. We are also sponsored by the delightful Elderwood Academy, who make dice boxes and dice trays. And you, wonderful chat, have designed wonderful dice boxes and dice trays for so many of our players, and we're finally in a position to show you some of the things that you have designed. George, if you'd be so kind.
I'll do a bit of build-up. I also got some lovely other swag. So I have a mini spellbook chest.
Very good.
Lovely shiny dice. I put my dice in there. It's wonderful. It's magnificent.
Very nice, yes.
Very nice by exposure. I have the roll-up rolling tray, which is very convenient for traveling, where you can pop the sides off, and then the whole thing rolls up. I'm doing that one-handed, so I can't do it very well, but...
No, George, the QVC job is right there. You're fine.
Yeah, I mean, I just need to keep talking through it. But of course, the pièce de résistance is the custom spellbook chest designed so magnificently for me by you, chaps. Thank you. So we have the magnetic closure. We have my dice. I got my pause card in there. We've got my we've got a nice surface for writing things on, just in case you need notes. anything like that.
Oh, George,
It's really lovely. So I genuinely love this.
Marvelous stuff. Thank you very much, George. And you have designed things for other people in chat, which are being delivered slowly but surely, so hopefully you should see them sooner rather than later. But if you fancy designing something today, we have one more person left to design something for, and it's me.
Oh.
So, chat, your challenge, should you choose to accept it, design something in today's Elderwood Construction link in chat, but ! Elderwood Construction, and there'll be a link there. You can design something nice for me. And I don't have any strong preference about what you make, but I will judge it harshly. You have one more.
Eldritch horror.
But
Pink.
Oh, pink Eldritch horror. That does sound really good, actually. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for taking part in chat, and do check out Elderwood Academy, elderwoodacademy.com. And who knows, if you make something for me, there may even be a code you can use to get money off for your own thing.
They are really nice.
They are delightful.
I love that dice tray. So clever.
Really good. We also have some lovely supporters. D&D Beyond, you can see our digital character sheets on the left-hand side of the screen, and D&D Beyond are a fantastic way of playing digitally, as we are right now, so definitely a good way to engage with D&D over your computer. Speaking of playing D&D over your computer, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms and Warriors of Waterdeep are two wonderful D&D video games. Idle Champions is on various different devices. I think it's on computer and, what's it called? The Nintendo on Switch and other ones. And Warriors of Waterdeep is a mobile phone game, so you can play both of those on your various devices, and you can use the codes to get download links at the bottom of the screen. And there are also codes at the bottom of the screen too. The Idle Champions code you have to enter into your chest screen, and that will give you an Electrum chest. And the Warriors of Waterdeep code, WoW Gems, there's a link in chat. If you click on that link on the device where you have Warriors of Waterdeep installed, you will get some free gems. And the hunt for gems is real, my friends. You need gems to play that game, so you go ahead and get them gems for you. We're also supported by Level Up Dice, who've given me some excellent metal chonkers. These bad boys, and some other ones as well that I use for very important roles. Yes, you can buy those. There's a link in chat again. Buy some lovely dice for your table. Finally, we play with a diverse group of players who play a diverse set of characters of wide-ranging sexual and gender identities. Our tables are trans-positive, and we encourage trans players, characters, and DMs in our games. Our DM and players may portray characters that are of a different gender to their own, and we aim to avoid misgendering, but do appreciate it does sometimes happen, and have a company policy in place for correction should the need arise. If you notice anything that we are doing that you want to check in on, more than welcome to. You can contact us through all of the various social medias that we have. It's Roll Together RPG basically everywhere. We've also got a content warnings you can now find on our ! Safety in chat, which will hopefully help you. This is a gothic horror game. There will be some elements in there that some players may find difficult, so please do check content warnings if that's the thing that you need to do. Yes, finally, a massive thank you to our D20 Club on Patreon. Couldn't do any of this without you. Thank you so much for being our D20 Club, our dice heads. It's massively appreciated. And you can join them on Patreon for as little as $1 or £1 or in another currency to just see what we're doing and get a bit of advanced warning about some of the new things that have got coming up and see what's happening there. Cool. That's basically it, everyone. Exciting! Episode 6 of Gloom Falls on Baldur's Gate. What happens at the halfway point?
Who's gonna die this week?
Puppies.
Last time on Gloom Falls on Baldur's Gate, the party managed to escape the, I was going to say vampire manor. It did have the sort of tone and feel of a manor, but it was built into the sewers underneath the Jubilant's Night Bar. Either way, they managed to escape it after the first, I was going to say episode, but the first instance of the Gloom appeared to have been summoned after the death of Manzorius Maladata, the ancient... words today. Doyen, maybe? No, the ancient sort of vampire that ruled over the clan of vampires in the city of Baldur's Gate was killed by their child, LaRouche, Silver's sibling.
Ooh.
Anyway, the death of such a powerful vampire was enough to start summoning this gloom into the world, and the party managed to escape with their lives, and in doing so ran to Hissing Stones, a favoured area of Baldur's Gate, a spa known to be a safe place where the different members of the different guilds do not attack each other. Thinking they were probably safe there, the party took a long rest, and there was some awkward marriage stuff, wedding stuff that was just awkward and real awkward, and that's what it was awkward. Trix spoke to an ancient elder nightmare god of dark blackness and awfulness, and I think Ashra said it best when Trix told Entropy to stop it. That happened. Yeah.
It was a persuasion roll. I could have rolled a natural 20.
You didn't.
I rolled a 12.
You only oozed a bit as well, so...
Nothing wrong with a bit of oozing.
Grim. So at which point you've completed your long rest. Silver and Trix had a brief heart-to-heart talking about some of Trix's backstory. And Aldrin spoke to Timora, his god, once more, which revealed that you should probably be heading to Tumbledown. I've really pushed that story point quite heavily. And also that your contact with the guild and paramour of some of the party, Aradine, may be somehow not quite with it, working with the other side.
I thought that wasn't...
Timora did mention that.
I thought Tamara just said that Ardeen was fine.
When Aldrin asked, is Aradine working with the vampires, Timora said, I can't answer that with a yes or no.
Oh.
Yeah.
The wheels within wheels.
Aldrin asked, are we walking into a trap? And the answer was no, right?
Correct. Yes.
We're flying into a trap.
Semantics! Yes. So that is where we ended up. You were all getting ready to leave Hissing Stones and head towards the easternmost gate of Baldur's Gate, which takes you into the outer city of Baldur's Gate, a collection of small hamlets that are built up along roadsides and near the city's main outer walls, one of which is Tumbledown, which is not only where the Pitch reside in the Monastery of the Benevolent Hand, wonderfully named, and Tumbledown is also the city cemetery, and Aradine has asked to meet you at the gate that leads out of the city to Tumbledown, which is where you are going to head. So, as this moment completes and Aldrin completes the commune spell, which was the end of the last adventure, what are you all doing? Some of you were stowing a wheelie suitcase, I believe?
Have already stowed.
Great. It is stowed and safe.
I would relay to the party what was said to me, verbatim as much as possible.
Okay.
How likely do you think it is that we are... There's a difference between not walking into a trap and walking into a situation that might require violence.
I mean, every situation requires violence.
Potentially, right?
Oh, sorry, you have different lives to me. I can't answer that for you. Every situation I'm in requires violence, but that is the life I lead.
Are you familiar with the expression Trix when all you have is a knuckle duster of disruption, everything looks like a vampire waiting to be punched?
I mean, I spend my life hunting vampires, so everything is a vampire that needs to be punched. I don't follow your point.
I'm not sure if that tracks in favour of my point or against it, but anyway. What do we think?
I haven't punched Silver yet, and Silver's a vampire, so...
See, that's the situation that doesn't require a level of violence.
Wait, why did you say yet?
Oh, I'm not intending to.
I'm sorry, in my head is a really bad joke I heard years ago of when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like other hammers, which is not good. Oh, sorry, not helpful.
I am capable of doing other things, but at the moment, my life is such that every situation requires violence, and...
So what you're saying is you expect this situation will require violence?
We're currently in the middle of trying to resolve a city-wide emergency where people are trying to hunt us down. Every situation we have gone into, people have tried to kill us. Are you trying to tell me that you don't think that this situation is going to require violence?
I mean, we managed without you, Trix, a difficult diplomatic negotiation that in the end required absolutely no violence.
Mm-hmm. And what did you get out of it, exactly?
Quite a lot of information about exactly what the Gloom is.
Mm-hmm. And what have we done with that information?
Used it to stop the Gloom. I can do
Which
this all day.
required...
Knowing what the Gloom was to be able to stop it.
And when we went into that situation, what did we do?
Oh, I punched it.
Which was...
I am so confused by the point you're making.
Violence. It was violence.
Aldrin is just going to be watching this exchange, trying to get a bead on the mood and demeanor of his companions.
Well, basically, it looks like we're heading into violence. So who's game?
In lieu of other options, I suggest we head there to a site nearby. Sorry, yes, I will raise my hand if that's what you're waiting for, where we can make final preparations that might not be necessary on the way over.
Sorry, did you say that Aradine might be compromised?
Well, I asked Tamora if that was the case, and the answer was quite non-committal, so it could mean that perhaps Aradine is playing them and pretending to be on their side, but it could also mean that they are exerting a level of influence on them that we should be prepared for. So I would say, let's go into this situation assuming that it's going to be potentially dangerous and there may be potentially things that need to be punched. Until we know someone is on our side, we can't make an assumption for their good and for ours. We don't want to bring people into danger we don't have to.
But let's not pass up the opportunity, as Persephone suggests, to gather further information if we require it. If this gloom is to happen elsewhere, we need to know the locations, and it's surprisingly hard to get that out of a pile of dust.
Every lead needs to be followed.
Wondering if we could try and turn that situation with Aradine to our advantage. If they are compromised, we might be able to ask them questions. Sorry, Silver.
Say it's hard to get the information out of a pile of dust. Not if I'm there. Have I shown you my trick?
It is pretty good.
Don't believe so.
Okay. So, you know I wear this necklace all the time, and it's got these silver trinkets. It's not just fashion. Oh, no. These are the souls of dead people, and I can talk to them.
Okay, I know that sounds like something that Silver would just say, but that is genuinely true.
Hey.
No, I mean, like, that sounds like something you would say to be like, look how cool I am, but I know that is something that you can genuinely do.
These willing souls?
Well, they were living.
No, I said, were they willing souls?
Oh, right. No. Well, I spoke to one the other day after our little confrontation where we were all showboating, and they seemed pretty pliable to be convinced to just tell us about the gloom.
Uh-huh.
How many can you have?
I think it's up to 5.
How many do you have?
How many do I have? 1 second. Scrolling. I have 2.
Good to know.
Well, if this is something that you can do, then perhaps we should embrace the violence a little further. If you can you compel them to answer?
No, but I am very convincing. And I'm not just saying that, it's something I can do. I can be convincing, I promise.
I'm not opposed to talking. I'm just dubious as to whether the talking will lead to us, de-escalating, as opposed to us, punch escalating?
That's escalating.
Chris, can I ask you a question?
Always.
When was the last time you found yourself in a situation where something didn't get punched?
I spoke to a cat on a roof yesterday and I didn't punch it.
Well, at least we know it's possible.
That's reassuring.
You didn't punch me this morning either, and we had a chat, and it was lovely.
I talk to Silver all the time, and I didn't punch any of you.
Rosy-fingered dawn is slowly breaking through the fog of Baldur's Gate as you stand outside Hissing Stones having this conversation.
We should leave.
Yes, again, I propose we leave. I can't remember out of character we talked about how to travel there yet or not.
You could fly there over the city, or you could just walk. It would take you about an hour.
So you said after lots of maths last time it was only a mile.
Yes, but it's a mile across water. So to walk, you'd have to go all the way around. Exactly.
However we get there, I propose we don't venture straight in so that I have time to prepare a few backup measures, additional layers of security that might not make the trip.
All right, well, shall we walk while you think?
Thinking isn't required. It's more just not doing it before they'll expire.
Anything you want to discuss on the way?
Let's try and finagle just a moment. Trix, would you be walking at the front, leading the? Where are you in this group?
I don't think I'm like aiming to be at the. I feel like Trix walks in kind of a dawdly way. I don't know why. I don't feel like Trix is like a kind of I associate that kind of like fast walking with like, busy people who've got places to be, and I don't see Trix as that kind of person.
The punching comes to tea. Why hurry?
The mountain came to the fist.
I'll run in an emergency.
When there's punching to be done. Well, wherever you are in the group, I'll try and finagle a sidebar with you.
Cool.
How to put this?
Oh, hello.
Yes. Yes. Persephone has had quite a different life from you, I imagine. I don't actually know that much about your life, but I'm just inferring based on outlook.
Would you like to know? I mean, it's long. I was an elf. I'm an elf. How does one... I'm not really sure how... Sorry, carry on.
I would like to know more, but perhaps we'll see. Whether now or later is more of an open question given what we're walking towards, but I just wanted to... I don't know that she'd like me talking about it in these terms, but I think Persephone has been made... It used to be made the weapon of other people. And I think there was a simplicity in that, but that's not a... She's free of that, and that's not something she aspires to. And I think that complicates how she sees the sometimes refreshing simplicity which you engage with the world. And
I suppose
I think that
that's
has
a very simple way of looking at it, but I am the weapon of someone else. And not always willingly. And not by choice.
yes.
And through trauma.
I
not of my own
actually didn't know
choosing.
that. I will say you carry yourself rather, perhaps gleeful is the wrong word, but enthusiastically with it.
It's been a long time, and, well... I'm not saying it doesn't hurt, but it doesn't hurt every day, I suppose. Not to say this to make what you said any less, but
No,
I suppose I understand.
It seems you have different ways of dealing with something which is
Clearly.
rather closer than I had expected. Well, I think I do not have an easy answer, but I just keep that in mind and maybe try to... I didn't know this about you. She doesn't know this about you. I can maybe facilitate a conversation, but it's something that if we're going to be working together, which we clearly are, we need to understand each other well enough for that.
If we end up in a battle with these people she has history with, how do you think she'll react?
I think if she's forced to fight, she will take them down with righteous fury.
That's all I need to know.
But she's not afraid of a fight.
I've seen
Not
that.
at all. But she has been...
She's afraid of them, though.
I honestly don't know. She's afraid of something. I do not know if it's them or something that they have put upon her, but caution is natural in the circumstances anyway. I agree. I fully back her on that. It would be absurd to just march into the monastery and try and take them down that way. It would not achieve any of our goals, but when push comes to shove, comes to punch, you just watch. I'll put a hand on your shoulder if you'll allow it. I'm glad you're here. I don't know we'd have got this far without you.
I think I can say the same about the two of you. Although I'm not convinced about this ash statuette soap thing.
It was an exigency for a contingency.
I'm sorry, that was 2 very long words.
The soap was handy. And Silver has a surprisingly deft hand at watering.
I understand that.
Someone just compliment my art.
That might be the most Ashra sentence I have ever heard.
You gotta put it in tea terms. It's the pastry around my spell sausage.
Oh!
Can I steal that? I'm going to steal.
Don't.
No, let me not. Actually, yes.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
I don't think I can't say if someone wanted to go and kill Blondie, I'd be upset about it, but maybe if they didn't take me, I'd be cross. But I understand, this is your fight, first of all.
It's
in
not
this
entirely that,
instance.
but I think just leave room to understand one another. I clearly didn't know everything about you, and I'm sorry I haven't taken the time to find out yet, but that's fixable. Well, are there any coffee stalls on the way?
Yeah.
I was trying to pass it on to asking Trix about that. I'm just imagining Ash with like whatever the infection equivalent to just to take out coffee.
Probably, and probably food as well, if you're buying.
Yes, I suppose I am.
Drop that black card. Drop that MasterCard. Cool. As you're going, you pick up. Does everyone want sausage rolls and coffee? They seem to be going.
I feel like everyone's just rubbing it in that I don't eat. No one sells fancy blood.
Hang on, but you must drink coffee. Surely you drink coffee.
Honestly, I imagine that. Okay, I think Silver can drink, but I imagine that coffee has an effect.
Oh.
That makes her buzz,
dear.
Uncontrollably.
Decaf.
I mean, Silver, do you want a coffee? The DM says, aware of the bomb they've just dropped.
Do it.
Yes, I do.
Ashra, you buy everyone coffees, it seems.
I buy myself too.
Everyone has
How does Percy seem? If Aldrin was looking at Percy, would it seem like there was something on her mind?
Yeah, she seems very distracted.
Then, taking a leaf out of George's book, in temporal synchronicity, Aldrin would like to approach. You will see someone in merchant's garb having taken the opportunity not to be Lord Highmore. Just assume that I change my look every time.
This party's mystique.
Yeah, where would you be in relation to everyone else? Would it be possible to sort of get you on your own, or?
Oh, for sure. I doubt we're sticking together in a big group of 5 because we look a bit like PCs.
Would you stand out from the crowd?
What happens is you all walk in a straight line and all follow each other's footsteps exactly, because it is a Baldur's Gate game.
Sometimes going into the shape of an arrow, depending on the formation.
When you go into combat, everyone suddenly moves around. Sorry, go on.
Like to walk up to Percy with a sip of coffee. Drag on my pipe. Just be like, penny for?
Oh, it's you.
Yeah, same eyes.
Oh, good trick. I miss it when I miss the times when things were easy.
Yep. There's nothing quite like having absolute certainty that what you're doing is right?
Yeah. Or absolute certainty that right or wrong didn't matter. It was about power and who had it.
You seem to me like someone who has a lot on your shoulders right now.
I mean, that just means I'm making a fuss because Silver lost her dad yesterday. I should not be the one drawing your sympathy.
Well, Silver lost her dad, but you gained something too. Not nodding at the tattoos.
Yeah, that was an unexpected surprise.
Alden takes a moment to try and think of the right words. They don't define you, you know.
See, that's what I spent the last year telling myself as I ran and then meandered back again. And all it's taken is 3 days with new friends to think maybe they do.
Trust me when I say if there's hope for someone like me who, well, I don't quite have the scars to show for it, but I bathe in shadows pretty much every day of my life. There's hope for you too. We're on your side, you know.
I know. I think I've spent the last few days of planning telling myself I'm being sensible, that tactics and caution and counting the number of people opposing you and making sure they're not more like 3 times your number are all sensible. And then being up against people who are like, obviously, you just, like, Trix's confidence as T just charges in and obliterates people is inspiring. And I thought I was just being the foil to that and sensible, but maybe T's right, I am just scared.
Percy, everybody's got a reason for being how they are. Many people got more than one. If any of us was sensible, we'd be fleeing down to Chalk to open a bar in the farthest corners of the earth, but...
That is a great plan. Shall we go?
I mean, it's what Milk is doing. Just saying.
Well, I can make food and water, and Asher can flavor it, but...
I'll be a bouncer. No, T will be a bouncer. I will fit in somewhere, I guess.
We got a job to do, though.
Yep.
How'd you feel about fighting people you used to be on the same side as?
I want them all to die. I want to kill them all. The only reason I don't want to go charging in is because I think if we do, we'll lose and we'll die, and that makes everything worse for everyone. I want to be in a position where when we take them, we win and they are dead and I have done it.
I can understand that. If I could hold a heart of my old mentor in my hand as I watched him gasp his last breath, I would do that. But Tom would have 1 or 2 things to say about that, I'm sure. We on the same side.
Doesn't Timora let you kill bad people?
Yep, but when you have to speak to someone every day, sometimes they have a real passive-aggressive way of showing approval, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I live with Ashra.
Ow.
Just glancing down at the ring. You mind if I ask?
It's a spell component.
No, God, please. Why?
Right.
It's not a symbol for anything else. It is a spell component. Only a fool would think it was anything else, Aldrin. And she gives you a look where you definitely know that she thought it was something else that's really quite painful.
Am I getting the impression that you don't want this conversation to go any further?
I think possibly going from her words you would, but then you would look at her and see that she's actually looking maybe more vulnerable than you have ever seen her. This is possibly a chance she will actually tell you how she's honestly feeling.
People have a lot of ways that they show affection. I've seen the way you two look after each other and look at each other, and I pride myself on being able to read people. There's something there.
Oh, don't worry. I mean, it's really kind of... I know she loves me. I just... For a moment, I thought she could overlook all the evil I'd done and all the people I'd killed and choose me forever. And then I was wrong, and that's something she could never do. Like, this is temporary. She loves me for now, and then she will find someone who deserves her. I just forgot that I was who I was, and I have this, and that will never change. And I felt just like someone in love for a second, and then I realized that's not mine. That's never going to be mine. And it was all just... yeah.
Aldrin takes a deep breath because this is out of his area of expertise. Just takes a moment to think. Looks over at Percy and says, Percy, you are not who you were. You are who you are. And I have never seen someone look at you the way that Ashra does when you're not looking at her, that didn't understand exactly what they were looking at. Your time will come. We may all die before this is done, but believe me when I say what I see is real. And I'm sure you will know that before the end.
She's pretty great.
Well, we make a hell of a team. I'll take a bite out of the sausage roll.
Could you do me a favor? I mean, you've already been very nice. I'm sorry for being slightly paranoid around you to start with, but you talk to your god, right? Every day.
Mm-hmm.
And they can tell you basically anything.
Within limits, yes.
If you ever had because you said there's limitations on how much you can ask them. If you ever had a spare question, could you ask if there was a way to get rid of this? It's hard to move forward when it's on your skin.
Why do you want to?
Because up until yesterday, I thought it was just a sign of super cool shadow powers that they use for evil, but I could use for good now. And then yesterday, that entity of absolute nothingness that is going to destroy everyone and everything we love is the same thing inside me. I can't defeat something that I also am.
I can ask. No problem at all.
I know it's not a priority. We need to kill a lot of bad people first. Just if you had some time.
Of course.
You seem like someone with holy connections.
You mind if I share one more thing I've observed before we go into the lion's den, so to speak?
And is it as sweet as the last one you did?
It ain't bad.
Go for it.
T wants the same thing you want, which is to see this to an end. T has her reason. So T has T's reasons. You have yours. We all have ours. I think we need to look past the things that separate us and look for the things that unite us if we're going to see this through.
You're right, and I think that you've got on its head. I think Trix is incredible. Did you see that first fight? One punch, dust. And at the moment, I feel T thinks I'm a coward and that I don't go because I have mushy feelings for monsters. It's not that I would really like Trix to... I feel like I'm letting T down. I just can't quite be as brave as I need to be, and I have always been the brave one, and the fact I'm not now is terrifying.
Trix has a direct way of speaking and a direct way of being, but...
He does.
T will see how you conduct yourselves when you're fighting alongside us, just like you see how T is. You're both incredible people. And whatever happens, all of y'all have opened my eyes to a different way of seeing people. And that's pretty special, right?
It's not bad. Especially if it's like this. And Percy, uncomfortable with all this emotion, will make her eyes fill with the black inky ooze.
Solidarity, my friend, and Aldrin will use thaumaturgy to make his eyes appear like they're filled with black inky ooze.
What is silver like on coffee?
Oh.
I would like to vibrate up to Ashra.
I'm so hip.
Oh my god, thanks so much for the coffee. I never allowed it back home. They say it makes me bounce off the walls, but that's funny because I actually climb on walls. You want to see me climb on the walls? I start walking on the wall.
couple of passers-by look on with a kind of, it's not something you see every day.
Do you know what, Silver? I was just thinking, how about some breakfast? Because I'm having
That sounds
breakfast.
like an amazing idea.
How about-
But have you seen anyone, like any blood donors around or anything, maybe in a back alley or something?
Yeah. Yes, come with me. Yes.
Okay, we're going on an adventure. Let's go.
I'm gonna walk Silver around a back alley and I'm gonna offer Silver my arm.
Why would I have your blood? But I don't want to take yours. You need that.
No, I don't.
Oh wait, you heal.
I'll just heal it back. It'd be fine.
Yeah, you're a Healy. Okay, cool. Lay it up on me. And yeah.
Why is this happening?
You did this to yourself, Chris.
While that has happened, is there a bakery nearby?
Yes, you can get more sausage rolls. Of course you
I
can.
will
It's
get
perfectly
sausage
fine.
rolls, and once this has happened, hand them to Trix, going to replenish the blood.
Now,
Maybe.
Silver, you've never drunk Trix's blood live before.
No. What's it like?
I mean, you have to do various things when you drink blood, so
Oh yeah.
let's roll those dice.
Oh yeah. She'll be fine.
Tea.
That tea will be fine. Sorry.
I thought you meant yourself.
I mean, I can't become a vampire, so what's the worst that can happen?
Okay. So I got an 25 to bite you. But
Yeah, my AC is 15.
Also, I think you were
Yeah.
willing at this point, so there's no
Yeah.
attack roll
Yeah.
required.
Like rolled up my sleeve.
Oh, God.
So that was 6 damage. No, it's not. It is 5 damage because I rolled a 4.
Right.
Fine, I'll heal that back in
6 seconds.
6 seconds.
And Silver, you have healed 5 hit points if you had any loss, which you didn't, and you get a +5 to something. I think it's an attack roll or an ability check. The next one you make.
I do.
Wow.
And I stop vibrating quite as heavily
Yes.
and just kind of, Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely fine.
Just jonesing for that blood.
It's at this point a sausage roll hits Trix in the back of the head.
That's my favourite thing to be hit on the back of the head with, and I identify it just from the thud. Someone has brought me a sausage roll.
Is it obvious it's come from Percy?
I'm sorry, she's standing there going,
Right. I was just going to assume sausage rolls from the sky.
I mean, it's Percy, she's probably not doing that, but that on Percy's face, which is probably...
That is for me, isn't it? You're not just taunting me with sausage rolls.
No, I thought probably if Silver has to, like, take some of your blood for breakfast, you could probably do with, like, a sausage roll.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely need the sausage roll.
Good. Good, I'm glad I helped.
The wound on Trix's arm literally while you were talking.
Hey, I rolled a 27. I definitely need the sausage roll.
Okay.
I assume that being hit with the sausage roll healed Trix's arm.
Another combat usage, just chill sausage roll.
Sausage roll, yeah.
Right, you are making your way to the cliff gate. Are there any other conversations you want to have on the walk? Apologies. No?
Yeah, save some for later, yeah.
Thank you. Lovely. In which case, you make your way to the cliff gates, where the mist was clearing throughout most of Baldur's Gate, the sunlight burning off some of the low morning fog. Around the cliff gate, and as you go up the hill on that side of Baldur's Gate, because it is go up and over into Tumbledown, the mist becomes a bit thicker again. You're a bit further inland, and it looks like the mist struggles to clear around this area, but you're not sure why. There are some people in the streets, but it's still relatively early, and because the sun doesn't seem to have quite, like, there's sort of a haze to the light, people aren't quite as animate or up or about in this neck of the woods. But as you head
Makes it
towards
sound like they're undead, that have just not quite risen yet. Just not quite animate yet.
No, there are no undeads. But as you make your way towards the cliff gate, there are Baldurian guards stationed by the gate. You do have to sort of show your way in and out. There are the queues of people forming to enter the city from Tumbledown, as you can see on the far side. But as you make your way forward, Aradine is hard to miss. just by virtue of being a Bloombridge dandy and dressed in Georgian finery, they are leaning nonchalantly on, like literally on the gate, and there are a couple of Baldurian guard that are very studiously avoiding them. And as they lean there, they see you and just...
Why are they whistling at us? We can see them.
It's Aradine, they're just extra.
Oh, that's Aradine.
Oh, yeah, that's Aradine. I'm going to wave.
they will, if you don't come over, they will...
We'll wave as we walk, yeah.
Oh, you head over. Well, good morning to you. Aradine doesn't look like they slept very well.
Aradine, this is Ashra, and Silver, and this is Persephone.
Hello. Pleasure to meet both of you. These are the friends you were speaking about yesterday.
Incredibly competent.
Oh, no question, look at them both. Ooze confidence and enthusiasm.
Yes, I do as well, thanks for noticing.
Oh, Silver, you've always oozed. Right, well, let us think about what we're doing here then. So, you've all come, that's good. We should probably head out of town a bit and avoid some, ears. And Aradine will walk you out of Baldur's Gate towards Tumbledown if you will let them.
And I drop to the back of the group and just cast a few spells. I'm not going to be subtle about it, but I'm just not casting them right next to Aradine just to prep.
How long have you been here?
Oh, I've been here not here. I've been in Tumbledown most of the night. Quite a lot's happened. Let me fill you all in when we're a bit further away.
Are we walking towards Benevolent Hand?
Yes, you are.
I think...
sorry, Aldrin, go for it.
No, I was going to say, I think I might know something of what this is in reference to, but let's wait until we're in the right place.
Do you want to be invisible, Percy? Because I can do that.
Oh, actually, it's something I can do, but it's a good thought, Trix. No, I don't think I do.
Stepping out of the cliff gates, the hill does rise slightly, and Percy, this is chills because it is, where you grew up. On a slight rise, the fog is still quite heavy, and the mist and fog never really leaves Tumbledown. And on a slight rise above you, there are a collection of houses, not many, maybe 20 or 30, and a spire rises from the far side of the town in what looks like a church, but you can't see any obvious symbology on it of any particular gods. It just looks like a church without any particular portfolio.
Aradine, there are people who are quite keen that we not be here, I think.
Yeah, I'm very aware of that.
Fine.
Don't worry, we're protected. The Gravemakers have come through.
If we're just, Aradine, if we're just kind of going to a quiet place for a conversation, could we maybe be in a quiet place that's anywhere but here?
Well, I could take you all the way to the Gravemakers, which is where we need to go, or we could have a word before we go there if there's anything you want to ask. I'm an open book. Have I missed something?
Is this a good place to be just taking a moment to talk about things before we move to our next location?
I'm so sorry, I completely forgot. You're the friend with the points at the spire. I understand. There's no need to worry in that regard. I will explain. Frankly, step here. You step between two buildings into an alleyway and they sort of draw the five of you in. Apologies, I had forgotten. The Pitch have holed themselves up in the monastery. They were assaulting the graveyard yesterday, and the Gravemakers had a word or two to say about it. They also were in conjunction with the allies that were mentioned by Trix and Aldrin to me, and the guild is, on your side, full force, whatever you need. This is clearly a problem that's expanded beyond the occasional bother of the Pitch being nasty so-and-sos. It needs to be dealt with, and we'd like to deal with it.
Are you sure?
Am I sure that we want to deal with it? Yes, we want to deal with it.
Are you...
Sorry, go on.
No, you go.
I just basically want to be inciting on Aradine.
Yeah,
anything out of the ordinary.
Please.
Are they telling the truth?
Sure.
Sorry. That was a natural 20 for 27.
What is it with you and rolls, Rebecca? I don't understand.
That's my first one.
That's an 18 for a 27.
What's your natural...
18 overall.
Okay, what's your natural 20 in real terms with advantages?
27.
It's 27 as well, so two 27s did you roll, Em?
No, I'm busy having the conversation.
Fine. And Silver, are you doing what you said you were doing, putting your fingers in your ears, basically, at this point?
No, I'm just at the back kind of trying to formulate a comeback.
I love Silver so much.
Oh, bless. Okay. Ashra, Aradine seems like... I mean, again, they clearly reek of this confident air of nothing's ever going to phase or touch me, and that kind of overwhelms your ability to look through the person. Aldrin, you know Aradine very well, and they seem to be exactly in that cool, calm, collected, I've got this all under control phase that they get into. You know full well that that isn't a mask or a cover. They generally do, and they don't get into those situations where they can't be that person because they have the power to do that. Percy, because you don't know them, this is someone who confidently places themselves in situations where they can do things, but you also recognize that this is someone who is used to being confident in situations, possibly to an extent of overconfidence, because a natural 20.
Can I just, as we're having the conversation, just like briefly reach out and touch them on the shoulder, just to be sure that they're not an illusion?
Sure, absolutely. You reach out and touch them on the shoulder.
They're definitely there.
Yeah.
Definitely them.
There's no investigation check to roll to see if they're an illusion or not, or someone in an illusion.
What I feel is not different to the...
Yeah. You touch Aradine. There's something on my shoulder.
No, just making sure that you're not here.
Caution's a good idea when you're facing these enemies. Not a bad idea at all.
And you've definitely not been charmed. Just checking.
Don't think so.
How would we know?
Possibly check if it's some kind of spell. I don't believe the vampires use spells to affect it, do they?
No, it's different, but it's not a magical effect. I wouldn't know. I don't believe so, and I think I'm of sound mind, but I have no way of checking if I am.
I suppose we'll never know.
How many of the Gravemakers are there at the moment?
50 odd.
Oh.
Yeah, they patrol the graveyard, and number one, the graveyard is very large, and number two, the graveyard, well, you're from here, you're aware, but for those who aren't, the graveyard is on a cliff face, and the cliff face tends to fall away into the sea, so there are quite a few rivulets and access points for all sorts of nefarious monsters and beasties, so they do have quite a large area to cover.
Percy made a face. There was a face.
Trix, I think we both get our way. I didn't want to attack without a superior force. We've got one.
Well, okay, if you're good, I can take you to see Leonie. She is she's the head of the Gravemakers, and she's currently got something she's working on that you might be able to assist with. And yes, we need to deal with this now, so we're bloody well going to.
Ooh. At least I don't ooze body odor. Undead bitches.
You tell them, Silver.
You really showed them.
Anyway, I understand a certain amount of caution, and I think it's wise, but I can assure you the guild is with you on this. It's a problem that needs to be dealt with, and you have full support of the entire guild. I mean, I didn't speak to Keen, but I haven't got authority that Keen is very much in favour of this. So.
Do you normally speak to Keen?
I've never met Keen before. None of us have.
How do you know Keen's not a vampire?
Trix, there is such a thing as a paranoia that starts to set in when dealing with anything, and I understand that, but if the head of the guild was a vampire, then I think there would be some sort of knowledge of that by now, don't you?
No.
Not necessarily. They could be the proxy for a vampire, or it could be a more recent replacement.
So the head of the guild has decided that the entire guild should help stamp out the vampire problem because they're a vampire? Please. Anyway, Joe, come with me. We'll go to the Gravemakers.
We could have told you that.
Right. Or we could sit here and draw a diagram on the walls, connect it with red string, and see how many different possible connotations we could find.
I concur that we should log on.
We should carry on. I'm just suggesting that we act with caution and, just be careful.
Okay, we'll act with caution and be careful. But yes, the pitch compound, as in the monastery...
And just because someone wasn't a vampire doesn't mean that they're not a vampire now.
Conceded, but...
Or one.
Concede... The pitch compound has been, they've walled it off. It's already inside walls, and they have basically closed all the gates and are guarding it carefully.
So what you're saying is we're going to need to punch a wall. That's what you're saying right now.
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying it's a very different solution.
Because I think that's what they're saying. I
just said punch a wall.
Can't believe I'm doing this, but I think maybe we're not going to get Ash. I know caution matters to you. I don't know that we're going to get a better shot.
If we have them trapped with a superior force, we should blow them up.
Why don't we go and talk to Leonie before we do anything too drastic? Because she does have a plan, and she's quite good at this sort of thing. She might be able to assist with this. Yes. Well, all right. Let's head to the Gravemakers are based in the graveyard, so we'd have to sort of. But don't worry about. There's no pitch people in the streets looking to find you and anything. It's not happening.
That makes a nice change. Would Percy know the Gravemakers? Where are they between commoners and useful people in a fight?
They are not high-level adventurers. They're certainly not at your level, but they are an established part of the guild, and what the guild doesn't have in super high-level members, it makes up in sheer numbers.
Great.
Yeah. Lovely. Well then, follow me.
Can I ask a quick mechanics question?
Of course.
What happens if you try to charm someone who's charmed?
They become charmed and the charms overlap.
Huh. But there would be no way of knowing if someone was being dominated because they wouldn't necessarily act out of character.
Yep.
If it's a spell, we can test for it by casting Identify on them, but that requires them to stand still for 10 minutes. And if it's not a spell, it doesn't tell us.
If it's a charm, I can dispel it, but it's a 5th level spell slot. But the thing is, because Timora said... Do you know what? I'm just going to ask. Aradine, can I ask you something while we're on our way?
You can ask me anything, darling. Link's arms. How are you doing? How's life?
I'm doing all right. It's good to see you.
Busy few days, huh?
Uh-huh. Well, you were here most of the night. You see what was going on?
I mean, Leonie was going to talk to you about it in more detail, but if you want a quick rundown, well, whatever you were doing, as I said to Trix in the message, appears to have really, kick-started everything off. There was an assault on the graveyard. There were a bunch of different people trying to get into various high crypts, trying to break in and take all the bodies away, it seems. And it appears they've got some kind of underground passage as well. So there's a lot of different entrance and egress points, but the Gravemakers got hold of it and sent a message back to the guild. And I was already speaking to my contact about the whole situation that you mentioned, and we all put 2 and 2 together. So the Gravemakers are all here. There's some other members of some other guild factions here to help out as well, and we rebuffed them. Well, not entirely rebuffed them. There's still a problem that needs to be dealt with, but generally speaking.
You fight any vampires?
Not directly, no. There were a couple of people like your friend here, sort of very fast-moving people who attacked with their fists and knees and things like that. I stabbed a few of them, but I didn't kill anyone, no. I'm not really, in it for the fighting, darling.
Well, so having this conversation, I'm just going to be surreptitiously checking for any puncture marks on the skin.
Your passive perception is 33. You do not see any. They're also out in daylight, which vampires cannot do.
Yeah, that's true. It's not that I don't trust you, it's just that Timora gave some indication that there may be going on some things that you may not be aware of, and that we have to keep our eyes open, so I apologize for that.
Your god thinks I'm somehow, what?
Compromised.
Well, I'm always compromising.
It's the best thing about you.
Well, all right then. Let's go see these people. But you'll understand we have to keep our eyes open.
Yes, Aldrin. Keep your eyes open. In fact, all of you keep your eyes open and look out for anything mysterious, untoward, or scary. Silver's right there. Anyway, let's make our way.
I'm going to keep my eyes open because I want to, not because you told us to.
Oh no, Silver, in your case, please close your eyes and walk into walls. That is perfectly valid.
So we'll just walk up the walls.
Yeah. So, there.
Or through them.
If we're going into a battle, Silver may very well be the only thing between you and a very painful death, so I might suggest not antagonizing her too much further.
I've had a bad week.
I mean, she started it.
She's had a bad week.
Well, fine. you make your way through Tumbledown, and yeah, it's a lot of quite small cottages and houses. You tell it's mostly, like, there are a couple of larger buildings that look probably like crematoria, but making your way through, this is a town reliant entirely on the trade around death. There are wide roads designed for parades and that sort of thing, and for processions. There are, most of the houses appear to be people who work as gravediggers, and the graveyard starts pretty much as soon as you make your way out on the road that comes in from the west and then turns south. Dusthawk Hill is quite a prominent presence behind you to the north by sort of northeast. But as you move forward, the graveyard just starts and graves start popping up. There's no fence around the outside. It's just graves start popping up the moment you start getting the houses thinning out a little bit. And this is a ridiculously big graveyard. You cannot see the full extent of it. At a certain point, because you can see down, because you are sort of walking down towards the cliff edge, there is a point where it quite dramatically stops, and it's clearly stopped sort of halfway through some buildings that have slightly collapsed over the edge. It is very much tumbled down. And as you make your way into the graveyard at Tumbledown, to the city cemetery of Baldur's Gate, to meet the gravemakers and make your next plans, that's where we're going to take our break. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. Join us in 5-10 minutes when we find out the Gravemaker's plan and see if we can take out the pitch. See you all in 5. And welcome back. So, the party were heading through Tumbledown to the Cliffside Cemetery to meet with the Gravemakers, with Aradine, who's definitely not cursed, dominated, or in any way charmed by any of your enemies.
I've never understood why people put up graves. Like, what do you do with them?
Nothing, they're a reminder.
But, like, surely you can just remember the people.
Yeah, if you need a reminder that they're dead, then why would you want a grave?
Like, don't you just have a picture of them, or like a ring, or like a little soap statuette of them?
Damn it, Evie.
Asher is saying nothing.
Oh, look, there's Leonie. Ahead of you, part of the graveyard is fenced off. It is very wide, sprawling open. There is a fenced-off area where you can see the buildings are slightly larger and look like more like tombs or crypts, and clearly this is the area for the posh people. This area, where it has neared the cliffside, you can see that the cliffside has been very clearly supported and reinforced. So there's almost a strange promontory at a certain point where this slightly posher district of Grave is out and about, and the rows are much finer and neater and settled. Milling around the outside of this corrugated iron fence that's basically the area of the nobility are a good 20 to 30 people. They appear to be just sat around, joking, laughing. There's a certain air of battle just had, and the ground beneath your feet has blood splatters on it in places. There's a pile of dead bodies being arrayed over one side. There's probably about 10 to 15. And people are just generally chatting to each other, and you can tell sort of winding down after a very busy night, if you will. You can all move amongst them if you want to, roll checks, ask me questions, but that is what is happening as you move through it.
Is there someone very clearly in charge?
As you walk through, if you're looking around for someone very clearly in charge, you do spot a very, very tall woman striding through, who looks markedly different from everyone else here. Most of them are in some kind of rough leather, often a hood or similar, and have the air of, rogue, but, have the air of, quiet, not particularly combat heavy, more of the sort of sneaking around type. This woman is in full plate mail.
Nice.
She walks with a
Is she a paladin?
Yes.
Yeah.
She walks with a definite step. There is a great sword slung over her shoulder, which she's sort of leaning an arm over, and she's just walking around, occasionally doing the kind of point and click at people, and is just generally joshing with the people around her and catching up with all of them. Aradine will head straight for her.
Oh, she's really cool.
She's taller than all of you.
I think Trix is doing the stars in the eyes thing that Silver normally does.
What you do notice is that she is taller than all of you, and she is definitely quite muscular, where the muscles are visible through the armor, but she's not broad. She's actually quite slender. And as you walk over towards her, she turns and looks at all of you. Aradine, you said you were bringing people. I'm expecting people.
Hey.
Hello. Yes, Leonie, these are the irregulars I was telling you about, And Leonie will look across all of you. Hello.
We're very irregular.
We're here to kill the pitch. We heard you could help.
Oh yeah, that.
Well, that's very forward of you. Well, not a bad thing at all. Pleasure. I'm Leonie Wen. You are, you look pretty capable to me, so we could probably talk through the plan. Come with me back to the, we've got a little command center up front, and she'll turn and walk towards a small, tent-style thing that's been placed on one side.
As we walk, I'd like to try and just get a sense of the sort of morale in the camp, whether people look confident or depleted.
They look exhausted, but they don't look like they lost.
Are there any corpses?
There are. They're mostly corpses. The corpses that you see as you pass by, there's a pile of them to one side, are mostly in pitch monk-style robes, or have a very clear look of a Mascaran priest or similar.
How did they die?
Mostly been stabbed or shot by crossbow bolts.
You say mostly.
A couple have been hacked to pieces by a great sword.
Sure, fine. Sorry.
And I use my Maladata bloodline to get an accurate number of people here.
Sure, 46.
46. Cool.
Do I recognize any of the bodies?
Do you want to go over and take a look?
Yes.
Cool.
I will stick by Persephone at this point.
Okay,
I wouldn't necessarily say anything or intrude, but there's definitely a sense of like trying not to hover, but just being usefully nearby.
You are peeling off slightly, but you can rejoin the others quickly if you want to. Percy, as you head over to the bodies, there are a couple of people around them. Quite a few of them appear to be performing last rites over them. You've noted there's a couple of different people all performing different death ceremonies. You probably recognize one or two of them, and some are completely alien to you, but there appear to be a number of people doing very different ceremonies over the bodies. Very small things like closing the eyes, or what we in our world we would have as like doing a cross over the heart and that sort of thing. So there are quite a few different small rituals happening around the bodies as you head towards them. If you walk over, one of the figures nearby will look up. They seem dressed like all the others. You all right?
Mind if I take a look?
Sure. These ones, and they point at, there's next to the pile of bodies are some that have been more clearly laid out. Those ones have now been left to rest, so if you wouldn't mind not disturbing those, but the others, please feel free.
Do I recognize any of them?
Roll me a history check.
History. There's no way Ash can help with this with her superior intelligence, is there?
No.
Darn it. Come on. Okay, well, that's a nat 18. Well, an 18 on the dice for a flat 18.
Sure. Looking through, you do recognize some of the figures. They're people you grew up with. We haven't spoken through a list of names or people, but there are people that you knew not well. There are also a lot of people that you don't know. It's not like, this is my childhood arrayed dead in front of me. It's more like out of the 15, you probably recognize about 3 of them. With an investigation check of 18, you also notice something else. Looking at the Mascaran priests that have been laid out, they don't look like Mascaran priests, not properly. You've met a few of them so far, and these look to be a bit too broad, a bit too tall, a bit too physically combative, if you will. You with an 18 on that check, I will allow there is a certain amount of hang on here.
In as much as the pitch and the Mascarans are really blending, or as in the Mascarans are recruiting thugs?
You could draw that conclusion. I can't give you a more solid answer than that.
Fair. I will look at them, the 3 I knew, and then walk past the people doing their little rites and just go, I wouldn't bother, they don't deserve it. And head back to the group and tell them about the Mascarans.
As you're walking, or as you say that and walk away, one of the figures will turn. Did you know them?
They're my family.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
I'm not sorry for you, I'm sorry for them.
Don't be.
That's not your decision to make for me. Everyone dies, and everyone deserves a chance to move on. These bodies will not be raised by necromancers, they will be interred. I'm sorry for your loss, and I'll turn around again.
Percy has a retort and swallows it, because this is not the enemy, these are tactless people. And heads back to the group and to the hopeful...
Your armor squeezes, you break away from that. Just like...
head back to the hopeful war planning and just pass on the Mascaran information.
Mm-hmm. Which you can all start to draw conclusions from if you like later when we discuss it.
Sorry,
George, can I go on before you talk?
No, that was a response to the Mascarans thing. But could they have been hired thugs dressed as Mascarans?
To make the pitch think, to make us think the mascara.
Sorry,
mascara.
Close enough.
You know
What
the
did you
most about
Yep.
Well, you're not. You have a perfectly fine physique. You're not exactly, gonna pick up a sword and whack anyone with it, though, are you?
Only as a last resort. I've always considered myself to be on the wiry side, and,
So what?
5'8" and proud in heels.
Okay, but if you were gonna send people dressed like you, who would hit people with swords, why?
I can think of a few possibilities. May want to investigate this a little more closely. But I suggest we hear what they have to say first.
Oh, we could definitely hear what she has to say.
As you head inside the small tent, it is military camp style set out, and there is a small table with a map of the Cliffside Cemetery on it, and Leonie is sort of leaning over it, and Aradine and you all can join that situation. Right. Which of you's got any sort of military training? Anyone? Don't look... Oh, splendid. Well,
When you say military...
Have you fought in an army?
Oh, no. Don't call me darling. Well, I suppose you could call me darling. I fought a lot of things.
Interesting. I'm sorry, you were going to say something.
Military. I have a lot of training, but more as an independent operative.
Understood. Mercenary work. Well, then allow me. This is a map of the cemetery, and this is what we did so far. And she will move little figures, push them around the map to show what's happened so far. So they came out at various points around here, here, and here, and we managed to curtail them. And their main target was the noble graves. We assumed they were trying to do something clever with those. However, it looks like they've got some way of getting through under the ground. Just it looks like it's not particularly an easy way through. This was clearly meant to be faster. There was some kind of pressure on them, some kind of time pressure.
Well, yes, there's a tunnel there. It leads there and it goes up into the monastery.
Ah. Splendid, good to know. Well, apparently that tunnel isn't particularly wide because they wanted more bodies and they were trying to get them out over land. It appears to have been something of a problem for them. We held them back as best we could. Some of them are still under there and still moving the bodies, and whenever we've gone down there, there are quite a few of the vampires as well, so that's been a bit of an issue. But at this point, they appear to be somewhat on the run. We were thinking that it would probably make most sense to try and cave in the entire area. Probably some kind of sunlight breaking through on all of these points to be able to take out any of them and stop them from using their sort of shadowy powers, if that's possible.
That won't work.
How come?
There's children in there.
Right, that does put a different spin on things. Well, then we have to get them out in the open somehow. Do we have any way of cajoling them, pressuring them?
I mean, if they're asleep.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Trix has very special skills.
I can see that.
Those priests outside, were they casting spells or were they whacking people?
No, it's odd. There wasn't much magic being thrown by them, mostly hitting people with their swords or clubs.
Mind if I take a look at them?
Of course not. No, you're here to help, and if Aradine vouches for you, then you're fine in my book, all of you. But yes, we were thinking of caving in.
Can I just take a look at Aradine like another one?
And Aradine gives you a look of not my type. No, we're not thinking of caving in the monastery, just to be clear. That's obviously too big a building to do that. We think this whole area, the noble graves in particular, if there's any vampires down there, sunlight will stop them in their tracks and force them to retreat.
That's a great idea.
Did you see any vampires?
Yeah.
Specifically a douchebag.
Is that a specific kind of vampire? I'm not aware of.
This one. I will transform into the douche.
No, but an ostentatious vampire. See them coming a mile
We
off,
hate them. They are the worst.
Oh. Well, it's a vampire. Anyway, the principle here is that we can break through all of the graves here, potentially. I've got a couple of sappers working on the principle of doing that from above ground, which should throw some light on the situation and stop them from being able to do so much down there. If we can then use your tunnel to make our way back to the monastery, that's probably the best way to In fact, if the tunnel's not wide enough for them to take bodies, it might be better if we stop what they're doing down there by caving the area in, and then we can go and, do a frontal assault on the monastery. I understand the caution of children being present, maybe trying to break down the walls, but not so much break our way in.
Break down the walls.
Precisely. But then if at the same time you're going through the tunnel and sneaking in the other way, that could be the best way around the situation.
We're not breaking down the walls.
We do theoretically have a way of drawing them out.
Do you now?
Maybe. We discussed it yesterday before Aradine messaged.
Well, then it appears we have options. Also not a bad thing to have. Does your plan of drawing them out require a certain time of day? I know that vampires are quite bound. No, good.
Not the vampires, the pitch.
Understood. I understand the three groups are working together anyway, so there'll be some combination thereof. So daylight is our friend. We should strike while the iron is hot, I suppose. The people outside will probably need a bit of time to recuperate. They've had a very busy night, but I reckon we could be fighting fit in the next 4 to 6 hours or so.
4 to 6 hours?
Yeah.
It's a long time.
It's a long time.
Unless, of course, you wanted, we could potentially speed up the process of trying to let the light in around the noble graves. We'd have to rebuild all of it anyway, so no skin off our nose. But if we could do that in the next hour or so, and then you could start doing what you're doing down there, we'd be available as a backup, but we wouldn't be able to launch our assault on the front of the monastery for at least another couple, 4 hours at the latest, at the soonest.
The monks will have got back to full strength within an hour.
In which case, time is of the essence. I can ask for more reinforcements from the guild. Aradine, do you think you could find more? It's possible. There's always the potential of bringing more people in, but is it that serious?
Can you make an assault?
Oh,
it's less about succeeding on the surface and more about creating a distraction.
She grins, and the grin has an almost glint to it. When I fight, I'm very flashy.
Yeah.
Sure. The goal is not to set ourselves up for strategic success on the surface, more about creating a lot of noise and kerfuffle.
Understood.
To distract their attention. Could that be affected more quickly?
Well, in that case, there's another thought I have. Leave it with me. Aradine gives you all a look of I've got a clever plan, and just probably a wink at both Trix and Aldrin with a kind of, who's the smartest person in the room? This person.
I visibly roll my eyes.
I'll look at Trix and Aldrin and just looking for some sign of reassurance that that's a good thing.
How long are we leaving it with you for, Aradine?
Okay, so flashy bangs in an hour I can probably achieve. If you can then be a fighting force, or at least standing there looking imposing to draw some focus while our friends here deal with the front. And if the sappers stay here and help break through some sunlight down to make sure it's easier for you to do what you do, then sounds like we've got a plan in place. It does indeed. Sounds like we're good to go.
Just become slightly confused by the number of words in this conversation. Are we going through a tunnel into the monastery?
It sounds like your friend knows exactly where the tunnel is.
Is that what we're doing, though, and you're sorting out the front?
Yes, and I'll leave some people here to help knock in the roof.
The roof of what?
All the crypts around here.
Do you know what? I don't really care what you're doing.
It will help you, because vampires don't like sunlight.
I don't care.
The shadow monks are not as good in direct sunlight.
Irrelevant to me.
Okay, well, that's what we'll do. And in the meantime, Aradine will sort some kind of distraction, and we will provide more of the fighting force. I suppose the people can be ready in a couple of hours, or an hour exactly, if that's what's needed. They'll have to roll some hit dice, I guess.
Seems like a defensive measure. Is it Leone, the paladin?
Yes.
Are there the symbols of any particular deity?
Lathander.
Oh, of
Figures.
course.
Are you even slightly surprised?
Could have been Kalimvor, I guess.
No, radiant sun, all of it.
Probably a devotion paladin.
I think that sounds about right. Aldrin feels a little bit uncomfortable around the paladin of Lathander. So it's
Why?
Force of habit.
Can I just pick up 2 of the figures that are on the table?
Yep.
Does anything happen?
No.
No reaction?
No. He's looking at you like you're about to place them to make a good combat suggestion. There's more of a sort of expectant pause.
Oh no, I'm just keeping them.
Implement an alternative strategy.
And make some replacements out of soap if you need more.
Leonie just looks at Trix with a kind of, those are my figures, but there's also very much a sense of whatever. Like, it's not important, it's more of a, okay. Well, in which case, I'll get the sappers working on breaking through as soon as possible, and then within the hour, Aradine can have everything planned. Aradine will look around the room briefly at all of you and give you all sort of a nod, bottom silver, and will then...
How can you nod at everyone apart from one person?
Aradine can.
Aradine manages.
It's like a nod.
Like the evocation ability that lets you selectively target with fireballs, it's that, but with social situations.
Aradine's class is social wizard. At which point they will draw Aldrin and Trix to one side.
Just like rolling the figures around in my hand.
Right. So I'll have a big surprise in an hour, ready to go. So I'll see you with them.
You know how that sounds, don't you? You're going to have a flashy bang at the front of the house, and it's going to be a big surprise.
Yes.
You distract me.
I mean, it would distract everyone, wouldn't it? That's the whole point. Anyway, I'll see you both in a bit. Do be careful. Obviously, there's a lot of dangerous people around here.
I would say I'm always careful, but that would be a blatant lie.
No, I know.
I'd say you're always careful not to be careful.
Okay, I'm going to put it this way to the two of you. Aldrin, would you be so good as to protect Trix? And Trix, would you be so good as to stop things getting to Aldrin?
Oh, always.
Perfect. Thank you both. And thank you for helping with and getting all this sorted. About bloody time. We'll see you both in an hour. And they will squeeze both your hands quite tightly and then walk out.
Teamwork makes the dream work,
Are
Trix?
you always this cheesy?
I was referring to your abilities regarding invading people's minds, but there's nothing wrong with a bit of cheese every now and then, especially on some crackers.
I do like cheese on crackers. To be fair, I haven't yet met a food I dislike.
Leonie is, in the meantime, watching that and looking at the other three of you, and will sort of move over to you, Persephone. Am I to take it that you used to work with the pitch?
Yes.
Right. Well, this is very encouraging. No better than anyone.
I have a favour to ask.
Of course.
I know it may not be possible. I know combat necessities overrule favours. I would like very much to be the one to kill Oriana.
Who?
She's in charge.
Well, I mean, unless she's leading the assault on the outside, you'll be the first in, so that is your
That
prerogative.
wouldn't be like her. That would put herself in much too much harm's way.
Sounds like she might not even be there anymore.
Say that again?
If she's that kind of person, then she may not even be there anymore.
Do you know more than you're telling me?
No, not at all. That's just that you described it as the person who avoids combat, in which case bunkering down in your hideout and not running away seems unlike them.
Then I will have to kill her another day, but I'm hoping it will be today.
Unless there's any reason for her to stay there. Is there anything they'd be doing at the moment that would require them all to stay in the same place?
Ah, yes, there would be.
Oh,
Bad things.
I appear to have missed something.
Oh, the end of the world. No biggie.
Well,
Stay.
oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were here too. That's not a, so you do that rogue thing of just being there very quietly.
I literally just come in to say a one-liner and then go away again.
In your response to End of the World, they only will look at you, Persephone, and just smile and go, well, it is a Tuesday.
Yes, can we get a move on? I would really like to punch some things. It's been a whole, 24 hours. I imagine Trix feels the same.
Of course we can, no problem at all. We'll be ready for the assault in an hour, so if you're making your way through for the next hour, you will have support in an hour.
Right.
Can I keep these?
Sure. Why?
Souvenir?
I mean, whatever floats your boat, I don't mind. It's
Can I have picked up one that is like a little like representation of a vampire?
Sure.
And one that is a little representation of a pinch monk?
Yeah, of course you can.
I stay at the something pub. Trix would know. I don't know.
Blushing Bear?
Do I stay at the Blushing Bear?
Yes.
Blushing Bear, yeah.
If you ever fancy a drink.
Sure.
Grand.
No problem. You do pick your moments, don't you?
I mean, when would be a better moment?
Not now. Look, it doesn't matter.
Yes, well, you know, when this is all done, we'll have a drink at the Blushing Bear.
I'll be there.
Excellent.
Wearing
I look
something a bit
forward to
less
it.
formal.
Oh, I quite like the armour.
Fine.
You don't need to wear the armour. Sorry, that was a...
You wanted to go, didn't you?
We're going.
You leave a very, very bright red paladin in the tent as you all file out.
So cute.
Sure. Sorry.
Sorry, go on.
I was going to ask Ashra if she wanted to take a quick look at the mascarons with
The buddies.
and
Yeah.
Well, I would ask Percy as well, but I want to have a talk to Ashra on her own as well for reason.
Yeah.
Ashra, do you mind if we check out the mascarons? Something sounds a bit up
I'm
there.
curious.
You can head over to the bodies as before. There are people laying bodies out and doing last rites over them. George, actually, Aldrin, you and Asher both know this because you both have religion and arcana respectively, which is largely, in this case, the same thing. If last rites are performed over a body with any kind of religious intonation or intent, that body cannot be raised. Not raised as in can't be brought back to life, but cannot be turned into undead.
Yep.
The Gravemakers are all at least low-level clerics.
They got cantrips, right?
No, they're not cleric classes. They're not class, but they all have the ability to perform last rites. They're all ordained in some fashion or another because it's an important part of their job. But yes, you can head over to the bodies. They are laid out as described.
If I go for a closer look, is anybody going to stop me?
There are people who, the ones that are laid out, will come over and ask you politely, as with Percy, not to interfere with the bodies that have been laid out. But there are some bodies that haven't been laid out yet you could have a look at, or you could look at the ones without touching that have been laid out.
I happen to know quite intimately the rites that are required by followers of Mask. If you don't mind, I'd like to take a closer look to ensure that the formalities have been observed to usher their souls, so to speak.
Roll a... there's a charisma check, but it's not really persuasion, is it? I mean, I suppose it is.
I guess it's
You're not
persuasion.
lying. There's nothing wrong with what you are saying. It is correct. So yeah, persuasion.
Persuasion, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
25.
By all means, if you can help these poor souls on faster, then please do.
My associate here will assist me in this regard. Thank you.
Very well. You have free reign of the bodies.
I would like to, examine them, encouraging Ashra to examine them more forensically whilst I look to see if I can perceive anything out of the ordinary.
Sure. Investigating a body is an investigation check, not a perception check. However, I will allow a religion roll for reasons that will soon become apparent. Ash, investigation or arcana would also potentially be useful here. You may also lobby for something else if you want to. That is
I
fine.
mean, Arcana's probably the best middle ground for me anyway.
Sure.
Can I, because religion isn't my thing, but at the same time, like I have the capacity to be slightly better at it.
Is this like nature being an intelligence-based check often doesn't make a lot of sense? Is this the same sort of ballpark?
It's exactly the same. I mean, obviously I have enhanced ability if I need to use it because
you are proficient in religion for the purposes of this role.
Cool. Doesn't matter.
What was it?
It's a 1.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. I think looking at them, emotionally looking at them, there is a moment of, almost a there but for the grace of God go I kind of feeling. That sort of like That's a lot of dead bodies, and it's a lot of dead bodies in mask regalia, and there's a certain amount of difficulty that you face with that stops you in your tracks more than you would have expected. Ashra?
14 on the Arcana check, which is
terrible,
5 on the
George.
dice.
Come on.
Yeah.
You're doing so much better with your dice rolls.
Yeah.
You taunted them with your box, that's what you did. You look over the bodies. There is no magical aura on any of them, even latent or recently cast spells. I will also give you this with a 14, even though it's a bit low, but because I want you to know this. Not a single one of them has a religious symbol.
Yeah.
Not a single one of them has a focus.
They're not fucking clerics. They're just random thugs.
These are ringers, but why? Why go through all of this?
What do you mean?
Why
It's
dress
a trap.
thugs as mascarans?
Hang on, what?
Just look, there's no... They have no foci. They're not equipped as clerics will be, and as Persephone noted, they are brawnier than you would expect of this particular cloth.
Looking at the bodies as well, there's quite a few sort of sailor-style tattoos and that sort of thing. Not unheard of in Priest of Masquerades who can come from any walk of life, but they do look more like street thugs.
Someone has hired these people and dressed them as mascarans to stand alongside the pitch.
Why?
I cannot believe I did not see that. I have a horrible feeling that this whole thing may be a distraction. Why? Well, yeah. But why hire people to look like the thing you're looking for, if not to make you look in the place they want you to look? Now, we can't assume because it could be a double blind. I mean,
exactly. Even with our suspicions, they're not concrete enough to turn away now. We have no better target.
I would suggest that where we can conserve our energies, that we do so, because we're walking into something, but we have to do it.
I concur, but when we're in there, I have no reason to believe we won't be facing the pitch. Potentially many. We cannot pull our punches for fear of something greater that we had to live to see as a double bluff.
Well, keep your
We've
eyes
definitely
open.
seen the mascarans from before. We've definitely confirmed that they are indeed. They say that this is not a thing that has been happening before now.
I have to agree with you, Asher, but let's keep our escape plan in mind, all right?
Have we definitely seen, we've seen a couple of mascarans before in Fulton?
Yeah,
Did
we know that, there's definitely been clerics that have been involved, but this...
The cleric in the first room definitely cast a spell.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was, I believe it was inflict wounds. It was definitely necrotic.
It was a ray of sickness.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm desperately trying not to matter here, because me as David is sus as fuck of this whole thing, but Aldrin is, definitely of the view of we still have to take the view that it might be.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair. Even in character, but both in and out of character, I think that's fair.
Well,
You certainly
guess
dealt with
we,
people dressed like priests of mask, that is true.
but cast spells.
Yes, the cast spells.
Yeah.
Ray of Sickness is not a strictly... I can't remember what class
We've
it's on.
never checked for holy symbols before.
It's true. Do I remember, actually? How did the Ray of...
Evie spoke to that mask priest.
Who was
It was one of your...
Yeah, definitely.
Yes,
Well,
you've been
you
dealing
might-
with priests of mask. I'll give it to you. Of course you have. These ones are not.
Okay,
beforehand.
fine.
They have.
Yeah, no,
them.
no, no, yeah,
I was
that's-
just
take it away,
egging
like,
you
okay,
on
yeah.
in your paranoia.
yes, death clerics get Ray of Sickness.
They do.
We gotta do what we gotta do, I guess. And as I get up to walk back to the others, just give Ashra a little tap on the shoulder and just whisper quietly, "You should marry that girl." And walk off.
I will give you the sourest look. Just freezing in place.
Oh.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
So Aldrin just mic dropped and walked out of a conversation. That's pretty good.
Now we're all going to go down a tunnel together.
Tunnel of love. Good, right. The people around you are getting the message. It is passed down through various runners and couriers, and they are starting to, pack up and get going. They are starting to move and get themselves set up to be leaving and going towards the front of the monastery to start probably taking a rest there and then assaulting, frankly. But yes, the movement is happening, and Leonie gives you all a wave as she starts striding off pretty boldly and resolutely in the direction of the monastery. 4 figures will come and find,
What a woman.
Probably Ashra, and we'll move in and across and go, hi, so we've been working on breaking through the ground level. Sorry, you're all together, aren't you? Yes. We can have that ready to go whenever you want. We've set a few...
Now, go. Take us there. Blow it up. Off we go.
Wait for the signal, I suppose.
No, because we're going, aren't we? We're going through that tunnel now.
Yes, I thought we were going through the tunnel, and therefore we don't want it to be collapsed until we're...
I thought they had to blow it up for us to get into the tunnel.
Oh, no, sorry, I should probably make this a bit clearer. The crypts themselves, you can enter. There are many doors as you can, and there are, doors with steps leading down in various of the different crypts. Most of them, because of the landscape and the way that it functions, they interconnect. Not always organically, and sometimes with a bit of brute force, but you can get around all of them.
Oh my god, why are you talking to us? Go talk to Leonie, who knows what's happening, while Percy takes us through the tunnel.
No. We're here to work with you.
Why?
Yes. Because we're going to let sunlight into the whole area, so that if you're facing vampires like we did last night, they can't stay in the darkness, and we'll have to run away.
We'll just punch them.
Tricks, we can do a combination of these things.
Do you punch vampires?
Turn down
Yeah.
Cool.
It is admittedly very impressive, but I will not turn down another advantage to our hand, given we don't know what we're dealing with, and there is potentially something here we are missing. But wait for the signal.
But this person's going to blow up some crypts on our head.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. We could blow them now and then you could run down into them, or we could wait until you're inside and wait for some kind of signal and then be a sort of secondary attack or distraction if you need.
It's a short tunnel, right? It's only a few hundred meters.
The tunnel between here and the monastery, we don't know if there's a tunnel. If you know there's a tunnel there, then...
Sorry, that was Rebecca asking Chris.
Oh, sorry. I don't know anything about what we're talking about. The tunnel itself that leads from Cliffgate, leads from the cemetery to the pitch. It's an escape tunnel. It's another way in and out. It's never been used to move bodies around. You know that the tunnel itself will... Because Cliffgate Cemetery doesn't have walls. The tunnel itself comes out somewhere in the middle of the graveyard and is a good way to get in and out of the monastery by a different way. It may have been expanded to allow people to get in, but if you were going to the tunnel, you'd just be going out away from all the noble graves and going down the tunnel.
So none of this matters at all.
No, sorry.
No, that's great.
And in any case, I think then... Sorry, go on, Rebecca. Yeah.
No, I was just going to ask, where in the monastery does the other end of the tunnel come out?
It comes out in a side room. There is a small flagstone that gets moved. Nothing too ostentatious.
Brilliant.
But it is well known, and people are aware that it is an entrance. It's not like no one knows it's there. Like a lot of people know it's there.
Yeah, if I know, everyone knows.
Exactly.
So with that, Percy will turn to the three in the conversation, go, sorry, there's been confusion. The tunnel is not here. You can kaboom the crypt whenever you feel like. The tunnel's over there.
Oh, great. Let's go to the tunnel and this person can just do whatever they want.
Wait for the... I propose that we should be aiming to reach the far end of the tunnel at roughly the same time that Aridin's distraction is happening. That way we are in position to take maximal advantage of their confusion rather than having them reinforce the tunnel. That should also be the time when you hit the... you level the land to maximize confusion and flush out any vampires who may be hiding, and then those of you who are here can deal with them.
Aridin's going to do something flashy over there. When that happens, blow it up.
If they're in a siege mentality, there will be people guarding the tunnel. Our best bet is something to go kaboom as we want to emerge.
Understood. The tunnel that you're talking about doesn't connect to the noble crypts, but there's been no people above ground.
It probably does connect now, but I don't know. I wasn't here when that was built. The tunnel I know of is over there.
I understand. Well, in which case, then, you don't want to do anything about what's happening below here?
You can have a lovely time.
Do it. We don't need to be involved with it. You'll flush out anything that are there, and it will give them a third direction in which they can be looking.
Trust me, if there are any vampires in our tunnel, we will be fine.
Well,
Trix is something of a specialist.
Evidently, you punch them. Yes. Well, right then. In which case, we'll just be over here setting things and leave you to it. Sorry, we thought you were going to be assaulting down here and then going through the
Oh my god, go away. We're busy.
Can we do this? Can we? Percy is as amped as you have ever seen her. It's possibly slightly unsettling.
We should make sure we're in position for whatever Aradine has planned.
I just thought there would be a secondary encounter
Leave!
with the noble crits
At
before
this point, I think if this person's not leaving, I think Trix is leaving with Percy.
I will show you where the tunnel is.
This group of four will just clearly it's a side plot we just avoided. Just going to move away and leave all of that. And you are welcome to head towards the tunnel that Percy knows through the graveyard. You are by yourselves now. Everyone else has gone. Percy, the tunnel that you are aware of, it is a fake grave, obviously.
Nice.
There isn't any kind of cool hatch that you press. It's literally just there's a grave and behind it is an open hole in the ground.
Nice.
But the grave is situated so the open hole is facing the cliff edge. You're miles from the cliff edge, but is facing the cliff. So it would be someone coming out from behind a grave. That hole is just a drop for about 10 feet. And then you are inside a warren of tunnels. You know the way of the original tunnel. We will deal with that when you get to it. But at the moment, the five of you are arrayed around a grave that has some kind of humorous name on it that is obviously a reference to the pitch that I didn't think of. So it's there. You enjoy it.
Something tar.
Sirius Black or something.
Peter Itch.
Okay, so I presume we want to be the stealthy.
As far as we can be.
Yeah.
Right.
Be good.
So I'm guessing you three should probably be at the front, and I'll.
Who would like to be invisible? Let me reframe that. Who needs to be invisible?
I will be anyway.
I don't need to be invisible, but I mean, I will be less stealthy if I'm not invisible. Silver's already the knight.
Aldrin's pretty knightish.
I suppose if anyone were going to be invisible, it should probably be me and you.
Done deal.
Either of you need more assistance on hiding in shadows and so forth, just in case something happens to remove the...
I mean, if you were going to do that anyway, probably best to do it on one of us, and then it uses less magical energy.
Well, Aradine did ask me to watch out for you, so may Tamora's blessing guide you in the shadows, and you now have what's known as advantage on your stealth checks.
Am I lucky? Do I feel lucky?
You feel blessed by luck of hiding and stuff.
Bother, I was definitely going to say this, and I didn't, because we moved on in the story. So, Chris, if you don't want to let me retcon, this is absolutely fine. I would have liked to have cast Dark Vision at the start of the day, and then with the hour of faffing, short-rested, so I still have Dark Vision, but I also got my key.
That's fine.
Is that all right?
You talked about oozing black eyes at one point. That could have been you casting Dark Vision. That's fine.
Ideal, thank you.
What is the marching order then? And by marching order, I don't necessarily mean marching. I mean jumping down hole order, because it is a single-person hole. I could have phrased that better. There is a...
Before we jump into the single-person hole, just cast Pass Without Trace so that the single-person hole doesn't see that we've jumped into it.
Oh, good. That's wise.
Excellent.
Stealthy.
I was holding back on spending key points on that, really hoping you were going to do it for me.
It's fine.
So who's going in the hole first? Evie, does Silver want to go in first as the rogue?
That's a solid point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've just
Much
been
better than me.
sharpening my blades, ready to go, full on. Let's
Nice.
go.
Great.
You were nominated as Trap Finder Extraordinaire.
You do have a really high investigation. So.
Yeah.
I do, it's true.
Nice.
Do you want to... do you want to do a cool vampire leap into the hole, or are you being more cautious or stealthy?
Oh yeah. If there's an opportunity to do a cool vampire leap into the hole, I'm doing a cool vampire leap into the hole.
Are you doing the cool vampire leap stealthily? Just
Yes.
Cool.
So it's cool, but
Quiet.
stealth cool.
Yeah, it's Blade. Yeah.
Cool but quiet.
Yeah, you're being Blade. That's great. What is the stealth roll? Don't forget to add pass that trace to it.
Oh, stealth. Okay, brilliant. So that is... what's 15 plus 13?
28.
28, so 38.
Dun, dun, dun.
What does your flip look like? What cool vampire shit do you do?
Oh my god.
Wait, so what is the entrance of the tunnel look like? Like, what am I leaping into?
Basically, it's a 5-foot round hole in the ground that you can just do a cool vampire leap into.
I'm going to kind of do a swan dive backflip, but like turning around like a mermaid a little bit. Before rolling on the floor. Maybe I land on a wall and then just kind of scuttle down.
As you land down and sort of do almost like a sort of holding onto the wall and slow fall yourself, but it's because you can spider climb, so you just carefully attach yourself to the wall as you go, very, very stealthily. No one knows you're there. It is dark down here, you can see in the dark. The tunnel goes down into a room. There is a sort of contraption at the bottom of it that looks like there's sort of, not steps, but like an almost ladder-style setup going towards the hole, so you could climb up it relatively easily. But you can sort of land down and land on this contraption. The room around you is only about a 30-foot... it's largely a square cube sort of shape, but parts of it have caved in places. It's clearly some kind of old tomb that has been reset. And looking around, you see no one in this room. It is dark, dusty, and quiet.
Can I search for traps?
Please do roll an investigation check.
Yeah. Okay, so that is... Oh, and I actually add, because I fit tricks. +5. So... Oh god, I lost count. So that was... 29.
Oh my god. There is a tripwire at the bottom of this contraption of stairy steps/ladder setup. You don't see what it connects to because it is just a tripwire set across the final step, very clearly placed. But looking at it, it's clearly some kind of pull motion that pushing into it will unleash something.
Does it look disarmable?
Because it's got a push-pull quality to it, pulling or pushing the string in any way will probably cause it to set off the trap. However, because it is attached to the step, you could, if you had some kind of ability to stick it down, you could stick it down so it's permanently stuck, so it will not pull or push in any way.
I don't think I have anything sticky.
Okay. You can just point it and mark it, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, I'm just gonna spider climb my way up. Tripwire, careful. Scuttle back down.
As you scuttle back out into the room and as you avoid the tripwire, this room is, as I say, it's basically cuboid, and there are 3 tunnels leading off it. One has an archway and looks like it's part of a crypt complex. The other 2 look like they have been brute forced and bashed through. None of the floor here is particularly stable. There are cracks and rivulets in the stone. The whole place, like the ground, the subsidence is awful in this area because it's a cliff face. So there are it's not clean by any way, shape, but yes. You are down in the space now, and the others can join you relatively easily.
Gandalf moment. The air is clearer this way.
Well, you don't need that. You've got Percy.
Should we all roll stealth?
Yes, all roll stealth now with the pass attack trace. Let's do it all.
Percy jumps down, I just want to catch her hand. I just probably like as she's winding up to jump. And I
Oh,
will
look,
remind you
everyone
that
everyone went before you, and it's just you 2 left up there now.
That works. I'll remind Asher is invisible at this point.
Good lord, George.
We don't have much time. I know I got things wrong last night, and I'm sorry, but tap the ring on your finger because you can't see me. This doesn't mean what you wanted it to mean, but it still means something. It means I have your back, no matter what. You can do this.
I didn't say I wanted it to mean anything. I just got confused.
It's okay.
You promised me, remember, that if I tell you to run, you run.
I remember.
You promised.
I remember.
Okay. Should we kill some people? Should we kill some of the really bad people?
Kill them dead.
I love you. And I jump down the hole.
What does everyone stealth roll?
Yep. Stealth.
Do you want me to roll again?
No, God, no. You're fine.
Aw.
I mean, could you beat it?
I mean, I could.
Oh, I had advantage.
I'll tell you what, roll it again, and if it's high, you keep. If it's high, you get it. If it's what is it?
It wasn't at 20.
Which makes it a 43.
So 20, then 30. Yeah, 43.
None of you know where silver is. Gods don't know where silver is. Good, right. You all make your way down into this room. And Percy, you know that the archway leads to basically an abandoned crypt.
Do you want ours? I've rolled the highest one I'm ever going to roll.
Sure.
I rolled a 34.
Very nice.
Ooh.
I rolled a substandard 31.
Very nice.
I'm more stealthy than Aldrin.
I rolled an average 33.
33, 28.
I'm
Your
more
roll
stealthy
fine,
than
as I fully assumed you would be. You
Chris, for posterity, I have invisibility, mage armor, armor of Agathis at level 5, my arcane ward, and dark vision. Which I cast earlier in the day, to be fair, but just for the avoidance of doubt.
George,
Yes.
how many hit points does Ashra currently have?
137.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Tank wizard.
Wizard!
Yeah.
I pull my goggles of night on.
They're not goggles. They're these little sort of they're sort of round spectacles.
Cool spectacles of hipster seeing. Aldrin will, insofar as possible, allow people to move past him because he would like to bring up the rear to spot anyone coming from behind into the hole.
Anyway, as I was saying before, George gave us his massive hit point total and people wanted to show off their stealth rolls. Aldrin's goggles of night. Percy, through the archway it's an abandoned crypt, and the pitch cleared it out a very long time ago. The space through the archway is mostly used for storage, and there are sort of spaces there where someone could potentially rest if they needed to. So it is a small complex of about 3 or 4 rooms, and it is a space that could be used for that purpose. One of the holes in the wall you recognize, and it is the way that you go through to the monastery. The other one is new.
I relay this information and then, Silver, where are you? Silver.
I'm here. You hear by your ear.
Oh, hi. So that's the way we want to go, but if someone got really injured in the fight and couldn't make it back, they'll be in there. Do you want to come with me and check it out? Or we could all go, but you would be the best.
Yeah, let's make it Persephone Silver adventure featuring Silver and Raven.
Okay. Trix is still your best friend.
Yeah.
It's fine, I can't hear you.
Do the two of you sneak up to the archway to sort of listen out and look out and see what's going on? Grand. Perception checks, please.
Oh, I can do that one. Maybe I can't do that one. 13.
Ooh, maybe that was it. That is a 14.
Okay, Percy?
13.
Okay. As you both listen out at the archway, you can't see much in the darkness. It is just dark and dusty. You can see the motes in the air slightly from your dark vision, but there's no lights down here. Firstly, there are wall sconces that can be lit, but the pitch don't tend to for semi-obvious reasons. Listening out into this, there is a room ahead of this, and there are corridors leading to 2 other rooms that would have been side crypts for a main one. You hear a faint sort of sob, like a... That is all.
I would like to use my Maladata bloodline
Yep.
to sense heartbeats.
Avoid this. No, they're not as high level as Percy. I cannot avoid this.
Don't think at all.
There are 4 heartbeats
4?
in these 3 rooms. 2 of them on one side, and 2 of them on the other. The 2 on one side, because you can sense emotions, can't you, for this?
Yeah.
Are incredibly calm. They're asleep. The 2 on the other, one is awake and bored, and one is in pain and scared. The one that's in pain and scared, I need an insight roll for you on top of this.
Okay. So that's non-natural 20.
The one that is pained and scared, something about it is familiar to you. It's not a person that you know, but something about its vibes that reminds you of someone that you know. Tricks, maybe?
What?
Huh.
You need to fight a werewolf.
Okay. 4. 2 in there. 2 in there. They're asleep. Someone injured. And tea-like, if that makes sense, in there.
There's no one like me. At all. One of a kind.
Right. Should we take one each and all at once wake them up and probably ask them some questions before we just murder them? Because that's character growth.
Shall we take the awake room first, or the sleeping room?
We might be noisy, so if we need at least one person standing guard over the sleeping people looking really intimidating.
Head up.
I'm gonna go with the one who looks like me because that's odd and interesting and new.
We haven't planned this much for fighting the whole pitch. Let's just go.
So, what is the plan?
We're just gonna go into that room.
The room with the one person and the room with the injured person and the bored person. And you're all still stealth rolled, you're all still very, very high on stealth, that's fine. You all creep into this secondary room and off to one side as you all look through another archway into this next space. You see what looks like a human, you can't tell, on the floor, bound and gagged and curled up in a sort of fetal position. And sitting next to them is a pitch monk on a stool. They're keeping watch, but they're also keeping an eye around and just trying to get a sense of the situation. It's boredom, but you can also sense a certain amount of agitation. Like, there's been a lot going on over the past 12 hours.
Hey, change of plan. Maybe we just kill them.
Can I point at Silver? Can I just, look at Silver, point at the one on the floor, and then point at me? Be like, is that the one that's like me?
Yep.
Is out of character. Is anyone going to be super cross if I just go and hit that pitch monk?
Nah, I'm about to go hit the two mirrors.
I was tempted to try and sneak up and just kind of.
What's it going to be?
Let's do all that at the same time.
Yeah.
You can all
I give
point
you a
out.
look and go out to the other room.
Because your stealth rolls are all absolutely ridiculous, you all have surprise on all of these figures. The ones that are asleep are also unconscious because they are asleep. What would you like to do? Are you trying to knock them out? Are you trying to kill them? What is it?
I'm fine with knocking out.
Okay.
Do the ones who are asleep, is the room that they're in, is the frame made of stone?
Yeah, they're all stone rooms. The ones that are asleep, there's cots for about 4 to 5 people, and 2 of them have people in them. They're clearly, they were clearly injured in battle and are sleeping off injury.
Because I could seal them in.
Well, that's awful.
Well, we could come back and deal with them later, but I could seal them in. That's what I'm saying. It's an option.
I feel like a warm-up.
I'm not sure about sealing people in underground.
Yeah,
we're cool with just murdering them. There's a line, people.
There's a word Asher taught me called catharsis. I think I'm going to go punch these little monks.
So are you going to set yourselves up? Who's doing what? Because it's basically a surprise round, and then we'll roll initiative if we need to.
I want to attack the one who's holding someone who's like me captive, because I want to ask that person some questions.
So it's going to run in and just and punch.
I would like to do that and tag team.
Yeah,
Sure.
pretty much.
So the 2 of you are going for the one with the humanoid lying on the floor, the captive, and what are the other 3 of you doing with the 2 that are asleep?
I'm going to punch one of them a lot of times.
Okay. Ashra, Aldrin, what are you going to do with the other one?
Well, Aldrin was reaching for rope to tie them up, but all right. Do they look like a monk?
They're dressed in pitch robes, yeah.
Right. Nothing wisdom based then.
I don't suppose I recognise any of the three.
No, you do not.
Great, that's useful. Don't want to do roleplay, I want to hit things.
I might just wait, because if I do anything, my invisibility breaks. I might wait until I have to choose between giving up the surprise and.
Do you want to be sort of set like the?
I want to be nearby. Yeah.
But so like
in that room.
You want to be in that room because you could be set in the middle, so you're between both rooms in case you're needed on either side.
No, I'd stick with Persephone.
Okay, stick with Percy. So you're near Percy, ready to do something if needed, but you're not. Like, yeah.
As a DM ruling, Chris.
Yes, darling.
If somebody was asleep, would you say that their mind might be slightly susceptible to charm spells because they're not consciously awake? Some sort of disadvantage they might have? No, I didn't think so.
Monk can shake off being charmed.
I also really don't want to set up as a precedent that, if you charm sleeping people, they're more likely to be charmed.
Fair enough.
Welcome to a concern.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
You don't have to kill them, you can just knock them out. Percy clearly wants to do some killing, and that is fine, but you're welcome to knock people out if you want to, or you do not need to.
Yeah, I mean, nothing I have is useful against monks, because the last time I tried a cantrip against them, it just easily avoided. But I guess...
I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's fine. I will just sort of... I'll hang back and I'll channel divinity, invoke duplicity. Just create a clone of myself.
And be in that central room so you can potentially go to either side if necessary.
Yeah, to go where I'm needed.
Perfect, no problem at all. In which case, Trix, Silver, Persephone, all of you get an effective attack on a monk before anything happens, an attack round. So, I mean, whatever order you want to do it in, please. I think Percy's quite desperate to hit things, so I'm quite tempted to say...
Can I cast a spell? Because we're not taking these all down in one turn, so I'm going to end up doing something, so can I cast a cantrip at the same time?
Of course you can. Rebecca, please, you want to hit things, please hit the sleeping monk.
What do I know? Yeah, I'm not going to spend key points for now, because I don't think we'll short rest before we hit the monster.
3 hits, so
3 hits.
Are you turning on the gauntlets?
Yes, I am. Thank you for the reminder.
They do light up if you turn
That's
them on.
That's okay. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're about to be awoken by a broken nose, so they can also be awoken by a bright light. That's fine.
I will say you can all sort the timing so that Percy turning on the gauntlets doesn't suddenly make the other monk go, what the hell's going on over there? That's fine. Yes, no problem. You...
Great.
Go,
the lowest of those is a... What's 14 plus 9? 23.
Yeah, all 3 of them hit.
Great. So that is 3d6 and 3d8?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that feels so paltry compared to last time. Where's my haste and my holy weapon?
I'm too used to the nicer things of life.
Okay, that's still very nice. That is an 8 and a 6 and a 5 on the d8, which is 19, and then a 5 and a 5 is 29, add a 3 is 32, add 15 is 47.
47 points of damage. You pummel this monk in their sleep. You wake them up. They are very badly sort of bruised and singed. How are you hitting them as they're sleeping? Yes, Stuart.
Are they unconscious by being asleep?
Not to 0 hit points unconscious.
I believe mechanically... No, I think mechanically you're unconscious if you're asleep.
Which means auto crit?
Auto crit if you're attack within 5 feet.
Oh, there you go.
I may be wrong, but it's up to you. But I'm pretty sure being sleeping counts as being unconscious.
Then auto crit that attack. That's fine.
So that means all the dice are doubled?
Yes.
So that was 64 then, plus 15. So that is 17-9.
You defeat this monk in one go. What do you want to do to take them out in one go?
I kill them.
Yes.
So I... Oh, it's a bit horrible.
Okay.
I think Percy just punches their face repeatedly until they're dead.
Sure. Quick, brutal. Down. Right, that's one of them. Ashra, you were going to cast a cantrip? It might be in the same room, so I'm just getting a sense of this.
That's fine. I'll walk up to the other one and cast Firebolt at close range because I can get the same benefit.
Yeah, sure, please do.
Auto crit.
Just
Fireball
Not
rather than fireball.
Oh,
Yeah.
The whole building
That
collapses.
is a natural
overkill.
20. That's a waste of a natural 20.
Oh, your crit dice do hate you. This is when they taunt you. It's
That
even
is
worse.
absolute taunt city. The damage dice are fine. That's 25 points of fire damage.
No problem. The monk awakens with a scream as you burn them at close range. They are not dead. They are just burned.
Yeah.
Badly burned. Trix, Silver, you do a running in joint attack?
What I'm thinking, if you're on board, Evie, is that if Silver sneaks in first and like stabs them, as they're like turning around in surprise, they can just turn around to see the knuckle dusters.
Yes.
I mean, that is a good way to break someone's neck, just FYI, because they're turning, so all the momentum makes the neck move.
So, but I think Trix would let Silver go first because Silver wants to be sneaky, and Trix is not especially concerned about it.
So there is a stab, and then a what, and then a punch. That's fine. Roll me the stab first, please.
Ooh. Ooh, okay. So that is 29 to hit.
Yep.
Yep. And that's a sneaky boy.
Yes, they are unaware of you.
So let's have a look. Give me a moment.
Sure.
9, 14, 15, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, let's grab another one.
Wow. Yep.
Sorry, one moment. Okay.
You know it's a good roll when you've thrown your dice on the floor.
That might be the most Emma thing you've ever said.
So 15 plus 23?
38.
38 of the stabby damage.
Oh,
You slide in and just catch them in the side, probably a kidney shot, and they just go, oh! And they turn to look at where they got stabbed, and suddenly there is just a fist running in.
I've rolled a 27.
Well, that hits, yes.
So that is 12 points of damage.
Yep.
And then with my second attack,
Yep.
that is a 16.
Just hits, yeah.
And that is... 7 points of damage.
Right. The monk on the chair is not dead.
Not wasting a smite on this person.
There was the stab and the punch sort of spins them over and they land on the floor and just like clearly. Did you miss some damage?
I have a second stab.
Please stab away. They've got some hit points left. No sneak attack on this one. Just a
No. Regular. Okay, that's 18 to hit.
yes.
That's all good. Let's find that dice. There it is. And that is... And I don't add the proficiency to that one, do I?
It's your offhand attack, so no.
No. Okay, so that's just flat 5.
It's enough. After the stab, boom, and you just lean down and just.
Wait, who killed them? Because if I kill them, I can raise them.
Interesting.
Technically, Evie went before me.
Would you
now it's just
rather
gonna be-
have a shade that follows you round that could be some kind of accursed spectre, perhaps, or does Evie want or does Silver want a trinket?
I want to raise them.
Oh, I wanted a trinket. We could rock, paper, scissors for it.
Do it. Rock, paper, scissors.
All right.
You ready?
I like just
Rock,
the soul
paper,
hovering in the
scissors.
air.
Yes.
No. Okay.
I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I've never done it before.
As your punch
I'll be honest. I think it's a surprise.
out of the body, suddenly a spirit just floats out of it and just.
I'm just going to turn to Silver and be like, "Did you do that?"
No, I think you did that.
What is your bidding, master?
I don't know. Just stand there.
Okay, it just floats there in midair. the person on the floor looked up at all of this and is just looking at you both relatively aghast, like it's like, what the heck just happened? In the meantime, there is one monk that is still alive. I need you all to roll initiative for me. In fact, no, I need Aldrin, Percy, and Asher to roll initiative for me because the two of you are in another room, and this will probably be over very quickly. It's a question of whether the monk goes first, honestly. That is what I'm looking for here.
16.
16, 14. Aldrin?
Oh, you're muted.
25.
25.
It's the most I can get, so I didn't even roll the advantage.
So it was 14, 15, was it, Percy?
16.
16. Okay, interesting. Aldrin, you go first. The monk is not dead. What do you want to do? They're still lying in bed. They're very definitely awake now, just saying.
Cool.
And Ashra's right there.
Well, the sounds of the spectre from the other room suggest that things are very much in hand. There.
I mean, sure. you hear a shing shing boom. That's basically what you hear at this point.
I've seen before what can be done, so I'm like, yeah, that sounds in hand. Okay, yeah, let's epically burst into the other room.
Mm-hmm. The monk is shouting and screaming, having been burned at point blank range.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's time for, and I'll use my bonus action to bring my my duplicate in with me, so that we're both standing next to the monk.
Hello, Aldrins.
And you're gonna see Aldrin do what Aldrin never does, which is attack with a melee weapon. because cantrips are useless next to these. I bet it misses as well.
You get advantage because your duplicate's nearby. Yes.
Duplicate's there.
Yep.
Is a 25 enough?
Yes, it is.
All right. So the damage that I do is, so it begins with a 7. There's slightly more to add.
Sure.
I've got a little sneak attack there, so that's an extra D6.
Yeah, do it. That's why you took the level of rogue, for the sneak attack damage.
Oh, totally. That's a 6. So it's a 7 plus a 6, and then my my radiant on top.
Yep.
Cool. So that is a grand total of 15.
Right.
I think we can all agree that Aldrin is the real melee DPS in this party.
The monk is not dead and it is their turn. They are going to use 2 key points and cast darkness. It's not a spell, I think, George.
Isn't it?
I'm checking.
Isn't it?
But are they going to leave, Chris? Because then won't they be coming into our room?
Yeah,
No.
we're standing in the door.
You're saying the getting out is going to be tricky, but hang on, try
It
it.
is a spell for key points.
As an action, you spend 2 key points to cast darkness. Yes, they try and their tattoo also flows out, and their eyes do the same thing that you recognise.
Just
Asher.
don't. Just watch it away.
Oh my god.
I love Ashra.
Well, that was their action. They look at you and just
Just look over to Persephone.
Turn to Ash and Aldrin. Do we need them alive?
Not particularly.
Maybe until they tell us what they know.
What do you know?
what do you need to know?
Everything you know.
I don't know. I don't know what you need to know.
What are you... I get so bored of repeating myself. What are you doing with the Maladata? What are you doing with the Mascarans? What does Sister Oriana have planned? What do you know about the Gloom? What is awaiting us in the monastery right now? Would you like me to repeat that?
No. It's fine. You're Persephone, aren't you?
Hello.
They don't want to tell you, but they also don't want to die. And because of the powers that they serve, it's very difficult for them to know what to do in this situation. Can I have an intimidation roll, Percy?
Yes. Can I get help from my very intimidating friend?
You have advantage from this situation, definitely.
Great.
It's a pretty intimidating situation.
Come on, dice, don't George me.
They didn't want to take another 15.
Did you just use George as a verb?
Yes, I did.
Oh, George is a verb now.
I just got that was almost as high as I can roll. That was a 21.
Okay. Well, they're enacting rituals now under the noble graves and in the monastery to the gloom starting. It's today. Like the rituals are starting.
We thought so. How do you feel about the gloom personally, on a scale of 1 to 10?
It's going to save.
I
world.
punched them.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
It's
I
fine.
don't like it, but I punched them.
Fine.
It's not fine. It's not very good. They're helpless. Well, one of those doesn't hit, but the other ones are a 17 and a 24.
I'm guessing it's just pure rage and frustration and.
Their only way out was to go, it's terrible, I don't want to be here, save me. But
Sure.
yeah, it's as soon as it's out of their mouth, it's a straight, I think, to the neck.
Ooh.
Just break their neck as fast as they can. That is, I don't like it. A 14 plus 4 is 18, plus 6 is 24, plus the 15 from the punching, 39 points damage.
Yeah, they're dead. In the other room.
So our friend on the floor.
Why do you have a ghost?
It's not my ghost.
It's definitely their ghost. It's definitely T's ghost.
I serve you, master.
Get them to do a dance.
That feels really demeaning.
Would you like me to do a dance, master?
Oh, no. Just go stand in that corner over there and just face the wall.
Okay. The Shades goes and faces the wall like a naughty schoolchild.
I wanted to see how ghosts dance.
Probably like people dance.
Floatily.
Hello, person on the floor.
Who are you?
I'm Trix.
Hello.
Do you sometimes... how am I going to phrase this? Silver, how would you phrase this?
Would you mind untying me? This is really uncomfortable.
I'd like to ask you the question first. What would you say, Silver? Like, do you sometimes look like a cat?
No.
Do you have an animal side?
No. I'm just a perfectly normal child.
Child?
16, 17.
Oh, shit.
Do they look like they're telling the truth?
Do they look like they're telling the truth?
I mean, no. I'm just a kid. Oh no, I appear to be lost.
What are you doing down here with these weird beaty-uppy people?
Well, I was in the cemetery for perfectly legitimate reasons, and then there was something going on. I didn't know what it was, and I tried to run away, and then I got punched in the head.
Does it seem like, Silver, to you that people with perfectly legitimate reasons often turn into sort of cats or wolves on their sort of downtime?
You know, it does.
Wait,
Maybe
what?
we're on to you.
I do know what you're talking about.
You know what we're talking about.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
You know what we're talking about, and you're gonna fucking tell us.
Roll intimidation check.
Can I help
Of course you
by
can.
mostly grinning, to be honest?
Ooh. Okay. So intimidation, that is a dirty 20.
Alright, fine. Yeah, I can do the wolf thing.
That is so cool. I'm a leopard. Well, some of the time.
What?
Yeah.
You think it's cool? Most people get pretty scared.
No.
Okay.
It's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
Are you with the clan?
What's the clan?
You know, the werewolf clan that live around here.
Well, why would I be with a werewolf clan? I'm not a werewolf. A were-leopard.
Yeah, but I didn't know there was such a thing as a were-leopard.
I didn't know there was such a thing as a werewolf. All right, that's not true. I didn't know. Obviously, I knew there were werewolves.
They're in my book.
I got distracted by the cool conversation we were having. I'll start untying this 17-year-old.
Thank you.
They
What's your
are
name?
in your book.
I'm Hytham.
Oh, really hoping for a Jacob. It doesn't matter.
What?
What?
So you're not with the... why are you here if you're not with the clan?
We're doing something very important down here right now, and you probably shouldn't be here. Like, you probably should go home.
Okay,
By the way, where is home, like? Just in case I fancied hanging out with some other people who occasionally turn into animals.
we live on the... I mean, it's a secret. Nobody knows, but if you're one of us, it's fine. And we live on the Dusthawk Hill. We're, there's a group of us. There's about 20.
And are you generally, like, welcoming to newcomers?
No. Sorry, I didn't mean that in like a... people are scared of us, and like people don't really know that we're there. We're like an urban legend. And
an urban legend.
Yeah.
We like Silver. Silver's like an urban legend.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
What's your name, urban legend?
My name is Raven.
That is such a cool name. Oh my god.
I know.
That's an amazing name.
Thank
Wow.
you.
So you're a leopard and you're Raven. That is so cool. I've been saved by 2 superheroes. That is so cool.
Yes, and if you want to live to tell that story, you should probably go home.
Okay. I'll go home. Who are these assholes?
Not gonna be around for much longer. Not something you need to worry about.
Okay. Right, well,
Superhero stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I guess I'll go then. Thank you for your help. And yeah, if you want to come by the clan at any point, I'll vouch for you. I'll tell them to look out for Leopard and the Raven.
You're our kind of people.
Okay. Right, and they'll sort of just move out the room.
Oh, be careful! There's a tripwire on the ladder.
Oh, thank you.
And about to be a full-scale war on top of the great.
What am I
Oh my
getting?
god,
Oh, sorry.
I just turned to T and just say, you call me Raven.
He did call you Raven.
It's catching on.
It sure is. There's going to be an entire clan of werewolves who call you Raven now.
I know, isn't that the coolest thing? Anyway, yeah, sorry, war, killing, things, that's good, yeah.
It's at this point Percy will pop her head out and be like, the gloom happens today, we need to go.
I made it.
Remain in the corner?
I've made a friend. This is Spectre. Spectre, this is Percy. All right, you can follow me.
I will do so.
Right, okay.
Should we go? Apparently all the monks are there doing a ritual and the gloom's happening today.
So are we running now?
Quietly.
In which case, if you quietly make your way out of these antechambers and make your way back to the way through to the monastery and start running down the corridor, that's where we'll pick up next time.
I was going to introduce Ashra to my Spectre.
Oh, please do that first.
Ashra, this is Specky,
Good afternoon.
my new friend.
Hello, accursed spectre.
It is a pleasure to meet you.
I'm not entirely sure where they came from. I don't know where they came from. They came from that pitch monk, but I'm not sure why they're here, but they seem to be following me now.
I am bound to your service.
But
I'm classing that as a hooray.
they seem handy. We'll keep them.
With this guy on our side, they don't stand a ghost of a chance.
And that's where we're going to end for today.
I apologise for nothing.
It's a speculative quote.
Oh dear.
My entire plan is just to pop it up when we get to the trapdoor and see if it returns or not, because if it doesn't, we'll know. There's a load of pitch monks up there.
Well, anyway, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. What a show. What a show tonight. If you enjoyed it, we play every Monday from 6 p.m. GMT to 6 p.m. GMT. That's 10 a.m. Pacific time. Gloom Falls on Baldur's Gate will run till the end of June 2021, and we are now halfway through. How exciting. Anyway, yes, catch more of the show on Mondays. And on Tuesdays, we're currently playing Escape from Carceri, DM'd by the wonderful Niall Ishak, which you can catch tomorrow. That's at 7 p.m. GMT, which is 11 a.m. Pacific time. And I think they're about halfway through their 4-parter as well. So yes, very exciting. All of our shows are streamed at twitch.tv/rolltogetherrpg, and you can find all of our content archived at youtube.com/rolltogetherrpg. And you can also find us on podcasts, wherever you download podcasts, or if you fancy trying out podcasts, wherever you look, we should be there, because that's how podcasts work. Yes, search for Roll Together RPG on your favourite podcasting app. Massive thank you again to our D20 Club on Patreon. Thank you so much for all of your support. And a massive thank you to all of our sponsors, Hero Forge, Ultra Pro, Elderwood Academy, and our supporters, D&D Beyond, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, Warriors of Waterdeep, and Level Up Dice. You've probably got another 30 seconds to go to the Elderwood construction and design something for me, whatever you like. Someone said pink cosmic horror, and that's what I want now. But you know, it's up to you. You can do whatever you like. It's your choice. And thank you so much for taking part. Anyway, that's it from us. Join us on social media. We're All Together RPG everywhere. And otherwise, see you next week, everyone. Bye.
Bye.